Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 6, the final day of action here at the British Swimming Championships for 2022. We have some big races happening today, and it's going to conclude our crowning of our British champions. And of course, those athletes doing their best to get in front of the selectors looking to make some of those meets over the summer. It's been a fantastic week of racing so far, and we are sure to finish on a high. Remember, if you are using social media, you're at home, you're watching on the stream, on YouTube or Facebook, or of course in the venue, make sure you're using the hashtag BSC22, and tag British Swimming as well. We love to hear from you guys. We love to see what you're thinking of the event, and to see you guys cheering on your favorite athletes as well. Joining me today, just like the rest of the week, is of course Amy Wilmot and Andy Jameson up there in commentary if you're at home on the stream. And if you're in venue, it's going to be Alan March. We've got to get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is day 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your officials to this competition.
Welcome to the final morning heat session of this 2022 British Swimming Championships for the Ponds Forge International Sports Centre here in Sheffield. And I have to say, these officials done a super job of getting this meet on. It's gone like absolute clockwork, and in fact, Amy, on some days it's actually gone quicker than clockwork. The clocks are sped up. We had the 50 metres just go like the clappers, don't they?
Yeah, it feels like we've flown by this week, and here we are, day 6, our penultimate session.
And I've got to say, it's been a great pleasure having you in the commentary box. I really enjoyed working with you. And if you'll have me for the next one, that would be fantastic, because we've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Straight up into the men's 50 metres butterfly, then the women's 100 metres breaststroke. 200 backstroke, we've got our Olympic bronze medalist in that. And then the women's 100 fly, and that men's 200 metres freestyle.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to the showdown in this men's 200 freestyle. It'll have to be quick this morning for these swimmers to make it through to tonight's finals.
And speaking of quick, here are the men for the first event. It is the men's 50 metres butterfly, and we've got Ben Proud, the ex-world champion in this 50 metres butterfly. He is that British record holder. Look at there, 22.75. That's when he won the world championship title. 22.7 for a 50 fly.
Yeah, it really is quick. A lot of freestyle swimmers struggle to do 22.75, and Ben is one of our best swimmers and one of the world's best in both the 50 free and this event this morning.
So there's 7 heats in this session, and we're actually starting on heat 8, because the first 7 heats will be actually swum at lunchtime, the slower heats in the slower heat session. British Swimming have put on 2 sets of heats. A heat session this morning, in the morning, starting at 9:30, and then another one starting at lunchtime for the slightly slower swimmers. And in that way, we've had 1,500 swimmers go through the swimming pool on the last 6 days. 4,000 swims have been swum by the time that we finish this meet tonight. Fantastic to see so many seniors and juniors here. This is the first heat in the men's 50 fly. And Thomas Pickering of Nova Centurion right in the centre in the green hat. Oh, good start from him. Also a really good start from James Cleaver. Nobody in 6 and 7.
Yeah, really important in this 50 fly to make sure you're keeping your head down first row and have a nice smooth transition from the underwater phase into the breakout.
Well, Thomas Blur of Loughborough University looking good down the bottom at the moment, and well, him in lane 5, James Cleaver, who gets the touch? Maybe it was Cleaver, indeed it was. 25.51 from Cleaver, new lifetime best from him. And how many times have we said that this week?
Probably more than we've said anything else. These athletes are swimming really well. They're coming here, and even on day 6, we've started this heat session with a personal best time.
So 1/100th splitting the first 2, 25.51, 25.52, and only 5 100s between the top 3. Wow, Luke Hollingsworth of Amersham. Very good swim indeed. So actually in lane 9 is scratched, so no Oscar Smiley in this second heat, heat 9 of the men's 50 metres butterfly. Cam Williams of Dartmoor Darts in lane 4. So the second heat of this session, the 7 heats in this session, and well, lane number 6 started well.
Yeah, just outside the yellow lanes there in the middle, we've had a really good start. So if he can keep this consistent rate into the wall, he'll have a really good swim this morning.
Also Ross Leslie in 3 from University of Edinburgh. He's going well, and if he can get his head down here, 1, 2. Oh, he's going to be on the end of the stroke. Oh, finished with his head up. Sean Tsai of Edinburgh University won it from lane 1. And, oh, that was so close. I thought he had it in lane 3, Ross Leslie. In the end, he was 3rd. And it was close. Well, there was actually 1/10 of a second between the 1st and 3rd. And I have to say, I thought that Ross Leslie went in 1st.
Yeah, another one of those swims where we've seen it, the finish be so important, and you want to finish on a nice full stroke in the 50 metres butterfly, well, in any butterfly race, so you really don't want to be breathing last 5 if you can help it.
And the 3rd heat of 7 in this morning's session. It's heat 10 of 14 in this event. Men's 50 fly, Thomas English, the fastest seed. Chester Street in 4. So the big guns coming in the next few heats, but here still getting faster and faster as we go through this meet, and maybe in lane number 5, Stanislaus Chausson of Millfield School going well.
Yeah, really well down this first length. Also lane 2 at the bottom there, Mark Ford had a really good start.
So Chausson with a white hat in the upper of those 2 yellow lanes in the centre, going well. He's got to hit the finish. Oh, he's tight on the finish. He's got it. Very good. 25.27. Another lifetime best for another 1/4 of a second. This time it's Millfield School's Stanislaus Chausson. 2nd was Luca De Silva of Leicester Sharks, and 3rd, Jacob Jackson.
Yeah, really close there. 0.2 splitting that, well, the field from 1st to 3rd, and it just shows that we're coming into the last day of competition, but the athletes are not slowing down and they're still swimming lifetime best first thing on day 6.
Well, at least the first 5 did lifetime best there, all of them. I have to say I didn't get past that because it goes so quickly, but well done to each of the first 5 finishers. Lifetime best for place finish 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in that heat. This heat 11. Last of the unseeded heats, then the fastest 30 will be in the water. And Rory McKinnon of City of Glasgow in lane 4.
Yeah, really good start there, and I'd like to see him try and keep this rate up. He's not breathing too much, which is really good to see, and we'll see that more as we come into the final few heats.
Alexander Painter of Millfield School, they're having a good morning already. He's up in lane 7 in the white hat, maybe coming through in 5. It's Brogan Hyde of University of Stirling who gets the touch. It is. Brogan Hyde gets the touch first. 2nd, Bruno Kempster of University of Bath in 3. Very tight indeed, though. Goodness me, 25.25 wins it. And that another lifetime best. Well, it's every single heat, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no slowing down. You're seeing the boys in the heat before you swimming quick, so you're stepping up to the block, and these athletes know if they want to make it back in one of those 4 finals, they have to be fast.
And Ben Proud on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, the only swimmer ever to be in the call room without his hat and goggles on.
He is so relaxed, it's unbelievable. Such a lovely guy as well. I can't speak highly enough of him. So relaxed, just a pleasure to be around. So the first of the seeded heats of the men's 50 metres butterfly, Adam Barrett of Wickham in 4. Bronze medalist on the 50 metres freestyle. And in this fly, and he's a very quick flyer.
Yeah, butterfly is his preferred event. He was bronze in 2014 Commonwealth Games, and he's looking to make that English time of 23.85 to make it on the team again this summer.
And look at this stroke, head positioned very low, not breathed yet, still not breathed, didn't breathe at all, and look at that, 23.85. Oh my goodness me, that's an awesome swim.
Yeah, really good from him. He was a little bit disappointed, I think, with the 50 yesterday, but he's equalled that English consideration time this morning, so really good start from him, and I'm sure he'll leave this morning with a little bit of a smile on his face.
Well, that's fantastic, and he has equalled that consideration time.
Yeah, the English consideration time. 2nd was Gregor Swinney in his 24.26, so another quick race there, but our first swimmer breaking 24 seconds.
And a no-breather. No-breather on 50 fly. How impressive is that? Well, here is our Olympian, Jacob Peters. He's got a fantastic chest tattoo. That's a corker, isn't it? He's in 4, got the Olympic rings in there. I have to say, I haven't studied it before, but he's got the full works there in 4. Look at that lot. Very impressive. So Jacob Peters of Poole was a silver medalist on the 100 metres fly. Swam well, 51.9.
Yeah, he had a really good 100 there in his start using 15 metres. exactly as we'd like to see underwater, and he's got such a high turnover here down the middle.
And he is in lane 4 with that red hat. He was a British Olympian in Tokyo. And look at this, again, really impressive. Head down as he spotted the finish. Yes, he has a little bit of a glide, but not too bad, 23.61. And that's a new lifetime best for him. So even the big guys starting to put him in. I suppose if you're watching the little guys, they're huge. But as the slightly less quick guys, the slightly less quick ranked guys going lifetime best, you've got to perform, otherwise you're going to get beaten.
Yeah, especially in the 50s where it is so close and you can't afford to be a little bit sloppy and off the game. So Jacob Peters finishing first there in a 23.61. Also joins Adam Barrett with that English consideration time for the summer.
Well, it's very good swimming for the fastest seed in each of the first 2 of the seeded heats in this men's 50 meters butterfly. This is the 3rd of the 3 seeded heats. And here he is, the ex-world champion on this 50 meters butterfly, Ben Proud of Bath University, coached by Mark Skimmings. Silver on the 50 free. World champion in 2017, the British record holder. And that British record, 22.75.
Yeah, phenomenal time. And I always love to see Ben. He starts so interesting. He stands up nice and upright and kind of intimidates the rest of the field. And he looks really good here this morning.
Well, here's another no-breather. Lewis Fraser also going well, one up from him from Swansea University, as is Thomas Carswell of Edinburgh University. Very, very impressive. So smooth, so long. 23.71. It just looked effortless.
Yeah, he looked really nice and controlled there, and he was a little bit long into the finish, but sometimes when your stroke rate isn't as high because you're taking it a little bit easy, those skills can just not be a little bit of a mess, but you can squeeze another 0.1 or 0.2 out of them.
Well, Lewis Fraser in second place, right on his lifetime best. 23.91 is his lifetime best, so within 8/100ths of that. Carswell in 3rd. Cameron Carvalho in 4th. Flanagan 5th. That's going to be really tight to make this big final, you know, it really is. There's some quick swimming there. So let's see confirmation of the finalists, I hope. Yes, there we go. So Jacob Peters goes in fastest by a 10th from the British record holder. And look at that, Barrett's in there. Top 8 is Jamie Robertson. He will get through for University of Stirling.
Yeah, good swimming from these 8 boys. Not really much splitting them, and through 8 to 16, we'd expect the same. So these swimmers really having to be on their game this morning to make it back in one of these 4 finals.
Look at that, you had to go 25.0 to get through to the B final. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunity. We'll see some of those juniors, maybe not in the junior final tonight, but in that Priority Paris final or even the B and the A finals. So the fastest juniors, regardless of your ranking, regardless of your age, you will be in the final that suits your ranking, whether you finish 1 or you finish 36.
That's exactly right, Amy, isn't it? So they actually fill up the finals from the A first. So they fill up just the fastest swimmers. Doesn't matter how old you are. They go in the A final. Then they fill up the B final. And then they have the Priority Paris final for swimmers born 2001 and younger. And then they go to the junior final. Next event is the women's 100 meters breaststroke. We start with heat 6. So actually, we're starting with heat 5. So heat 5 of this women's 100 meters breaststroke, and Emily Farr of City of Leicester, the fastest seed, and she started well, Emily, in that black hat in the center. Also going well in lane 7 is Lucy Canavan of City of Manchester.
Yeah, this race is a really hard race to get right. Sometimes the harder you try in sprint breaststroke, the slower you go. So you want to increase that stroke rate, but not slip too much water.
Right at the top going well as well as Olivia Cooper of Basildon and Phoenix, coached by Doug Campbell. I was on a swim team with him a long, long time ago, Commonwealth Games. And actually, sorry, that is at the top there. That is Amelia Riggett of Mount Kelly. I'm getting ahead of myself. Olivia's in the next heat. So
yeah, Emily here looking really good as she comes down this last 50. She's led from the beginning. She's holding on nice.
Thank you, Amy. I've got my sheets all over the place here. But in lane number 4, Emily Farr of City of Leicester looking good in this heat 5, the first heat that we'll be showing in this session. Of course, heats 1 to 4 will be this afternoon. So Emily Farr wins it. Second was Mably Collier of Swansea, and third Lucy Canavan of City of Manchester.
Yeah, another swimmer in the first heats in the in the A block of heats this morning, coming in and swimming a lifetime best. So good to see both of those girls break that 1:14 barrier for the first time in 1 and 2.
So now we have heat 6, and we have Olivia Cooper. She'll actually be at the top of the screen when you see it. So it's slightly interesting the way that the lanes are put here. So right at the top is lane 9, at the bottom is lane 0, and in lane 0, Georgia Maggs of City of Cambridge. Georgia Maggs of Cambridge closest to us. Georgia Gussie of City of Bristol in 4, the fastest seed.
Yeah, lane 5 there had a really nice start. Louisa Jones atop of those 2 yellow lanes there. Really important to get off to a good start in this 100 metres breaststroke, and you want to see your head connected to your shoulders and your spine and not a lot of nodding up and down.
You certainly do want to see your head connected to your shoulders.
Still, I should say.
That would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? No, I know exactly what you mean, and it's a good first 50. Look at that from Louise Jones in lane number 5 from Royal Wolverhampton. She looks really good.
Yeah, quick split from her there. Time of 33.56 to finish, or shall I say turn there at the 50.
And she's got to try and hold on, try and make sure she gets as much distance per stroke. And coming back in 4 now is Georgia Gussie of the City of Bristol.
Yeah, both of these girls digging in this last 15 metres of the race. It'll be down to the wire, I'd imagine, between these 2 girls.
Well, the field's really charging now. The red hats in lanes 6 and 8. Abigail Miles of City of Sheffield, and 8, that's Caitlin Hartley of Hatfield. And I think Hartley got it. Yes, she did, out in lane 8. That's a good swim from her. 2:13.82. New lifetime best for Caitlin to win heat 6 of the women's 100 breaststroke. Second was Georgia Gussie, 2:14.0. That's a lifetime best for her as well, I think. Just outside it, but season's best.
Yeah, nice to see another swimmer there this morning, dropping a personal best time, and 1:13.82 from Caitlin there to finish first in heat 6 of this 100 breaststroke.
So here's the official result of heat 6. Hartley wins it for Hatfield, Gussie second, Miles third, Louise Jones fourth. So heats 9, 10 and 11 have the fastest 30 swimmers in it, all circle seeded. This heat's 7. So 2 more heats, and then the fastest 30 come in. And Imogen Lambert in lane number 5 from Mount Kelly goes in 5. Charlotte Hardy of Millfield School in 4. Seventh heat of the women's 100 metres breaststroke. And Charlotte Hardy of Millfield School had a good start with that green hat right in the centre, pretty much even down this first 25.
Yeah, the races now will start to get closer as we get through the rounds here, and Paige Fenton also having a really good start there in lane 9 at the top of your screen.
And interesting this is because we watched the stroke technique in the 50 metres breaststroke. I think that was on day 1 here. And then pretty quickly thereafter, I think it might have been day 2, was the 200 metres breaststroke, because early on in the programme, very different stroke techniques. And this seems to be a mashup of the 2 in terms of speed of stroke, but also getting distance per stroke.
Yeah, you have quite a lot of breaststroke swimmers in particular that either do 50 and 100 or might do 100 and 200. And we see Imogen Clark and Sarah Vasey do the 50 and 100, and Molly Renshaw and Abby are slightly better at the 100 and 200. So it's interesting to see how these girls almost perfect their technique, and it works for either sprint breaststroke or your slightly longer events.
Well, Claire Hullieu of Plymouth Leander, actually a French national, so won't be going through to this evening's finals. That's reserved just for British swimmers, and she's won it. Indeed, she has in 1:13.39. Well, welcome to Britain. Welcome to swim with Plymouth Leander from France, and welcome to do a lifetime best in that heat to win heat 7. That's a really good swim from her. Second was Emily Morgan Hughes of Dartmoor, And third, Rebecca Keatley of Middlesbrough.
Yeah, those girls there swimming well this morning. We see the times a little bit slower than that heat before, so heat number 8 here will have to make sure that they're posting quick times if they want to be in with a chance of being back in one of those finals tonight.
And last of the unseeded heats, heat 8 of 11. In this women's 100 breaststroke, Hermione Rowe of Mount Kelly in 3, Amy Folds of Guildford City in 4, and Hannah Bowley of Repton School, Repton Swimming in 5. And well, it's certainly been a really good resurgence of the schools programme for the age groups, with Millfield School, with Mount Kelly, with Repton, Royal Wolverhampton School.
Yeah, it's good to see some of these junior programmes still swimming really well. We had a bit of a lull in lockdown where there wasn't a lot of opportunity for swimmers to train, never mind race. So to see them back at the British Championships this year in 2022, it's the first time a lot of these girls have been here for potentially 3 years now.
And if you're of the correct age, born 2005 or younger, you can qualify for the European Junior Championships, and the qualification standard for that is a very quick 1:10.0. So you basically got to go 69 or faster to qualify for the European Juniors. But going very well right at the bottom here in lane number 1 is one of those school swimmers, Nellie Clark of Millfield School, in the green hat, and she looks really good.
Yeah, she's powering through this last 50 metres here.
So it is Nellie Clark of Millfield just about ahead of Ailsa MacDonald of University of Edinburgh in 2. 1 and 2, who's going to get the touch? Wow, it's close. Really was close. 1:13.08. Nellie Clark won it, and a new lifetime best for her by half a second. Second was Ailsa MacDonald of Edinburgh University, and third, Hannah Bowley of Repton.
Yeah, we've seen a lot more PBs there, and Nellie looks really happy this morning with that. So it's nice to see these swimmers with a big smile on their face because they've got the opportunity to be here. Friends and family might be in the stands and their teammates are getting behind them. So it's been a really nice atmosphere this week at the British Championships.
It has. Piers Summers-Newton in 4th place as well, also swam well. So we come to the fastest 30 and they're circle seeded. So 3rd ranked coming into this event is Imogen Clark. She goes in lane 4 in this heat 9 of 11. On either side of her, Beth Dennis in 5, Katie Robertson in 3. And Imogen won the gold on the 50. How quick was that?
Yeah, she had a really good 50 breast, and it was nice to see her get back down. Close to her British record there.
Well, she was super fast on that. 30.1 she swam. And a really good start, straight again. And, well, it is really interesting to watch our Olympians, our Commonwealth medalists, our Commonwealth champions, just how good they are at every phase of the event. And look at this start here from Imogen Clark.
Yeah, phenomenal start from her. We knew she'd be quick down this first 50, with the 50 being her preferred event. So she'll be settling into this nice and relaxed, really, not kind of looking to burn too much energy. And another really phenomenal turn there, and we see her get nearly 10 metres off that wall.
Well, that was a super turn. Also going well is Katie Goodburn of University of Edinburgh, up in 6. She was actually 4th on the 50 metres breaststroke, so expect her to be out quick, but it'll be interesting to see if she can hold on, because coming back between these two leaders, Imogen Clark in 4 and Katie Goodburn 6, is Beth Dennis of the city of Sheffield. But no doubt about this winner of this heat 9 of 11 of women's 100 metres breaststroke, Imogen Clark of Deventio. She looks really good. What's she going to go, 68 or so? 69.1. 69.1 wins it. Beth Dennis 2nd, Katie Goodburn 3rd.
Yeah, I'm sure Imogen will have a little bit more in there tonight. We also have 3 of those Scots in that heat there that will be looking to come back tonight, and we'll be looking to get close to that consideration time for the Commonwealth Games this summer. So good heat from those girls this morning, and they look pretty chuffed. After all, it is day 6, and the 200 was a couple of days ago, and the 50 was even longer ago now.
It is interesting because also there's not that many swimmers who have gone the 50, the 100 and the 200. And having said that, in the next heat in lane 4, Cara Hanlon actually got a bronze in the 50 and the 200. So she's in good shape for this 100. But there's confirmation of the results of this heat 9. Imogen Clark winning it, Beth Dennis 2nd, Goodburn 3rd, Robertson 4th. So it looks like Imogen Clark certainly booked her. Well, there is the final heat, I think it is. Is that? Yes, it is. There's Abby Wood on the left-hand side. Very relaxed.
Yeah, her and Sarah, they're great friends. It's nice to see them in the call room, just staying relaxed before this swim this morning.
Abby had a great meet so far, really. National champion on 200 free, 200 medley, 200 breast. And she's been ill. Amazing. Heat 10 of the women's 100 breaststroke. We've got Megan Morrison in 3. She's withdrawn. So Megan Morrison in 3 has withdrawn. In 4, it's Cara Hanlon of University of Edinburgh. 5 is Kayla van der Merwe of Winchester. And Anna Morgan of Edinburgh University in 6.
Cara looking really good here down this first 50. We've mentioned that she's one of the girls that swims all 3 of these events, and she's done it really well. So she's already on the, has been considered for the Commonwealth Games team, for the Scottish team this summer. So I'm sure she'll be looking to add the 100 metres to that, because the winner of that will often then get to swim the relay at those championships.
And 31.8 at the turn. She's not going slowly here, and this is quite interesting because she doesn't need to go that quick in the heats. She could save a little if she wanted to for the final, but both of these swimmers in 4 and 5 really pushing it.
Yeah, sometimes when you haven't raced for a few days, you want to kind of get back in and blow the cobwebs off, and the heats are the perfect time to be able to do that.
So it's a pretty good heat swim here from the bronze medalist on the 50 and the 200. Coming to the middle of those for this 100 metres breaststroke, and Cara Hanlon of University of Edinburgh wins it 2:07.9. That's a pretty good swim for a heat. 2:09.2, second from Kayla van der Merwe, and third down in lane 1, Sophie King of Woking.
Yeah, really quick there from Cara. She did look nice and relaxed. She did look quite controlled, and she looks happy with that this morning, and there's no reason why not. 0.4 off her personal best time there, so really close from her.
So Cara Hanlon wins it from Edinburgh University. And I would imagine it looks like it's maybe under 1:10 will get through to the final. It's not the fastest time we've ever had to make the 100 metres breaststroke final. We'll just have to see how many will make it through for that. There's lane 4, though. Look at that in this final heat. That is Sarah Vasey, silver on the 50 breaststroke. What's she going to do here?
Yeah, we'll see her out quick, and I'm sure we'll see Abby reeling her back in on that second 50. So it'll be a really close race from these 2 girls this morning.
Kinley in 2, Booker in 3, Vasey in 4, Wood in 5. The final heat of the women's 100 breaststroke, and Sarah Vasey goes in lane number 4, silver on the 50 breaststroke, and then, Abby Wood won the 200 free, won the 200 iron, won the 200 breaststroke.
Yeah, such a good all-round swimmer, and she had a lovely start here, as did Lily Booker. So both of these girls in the 200 breaststroke. Lily was also silver in the 2 and 4 IM, so it's clear that breaststroke's her strength, and she really uses that in those medleys, and she looks really comfortable this morning.
Well, she's really going down this this first 50 quickly, 31.8. I think that's pretty much exactly what the last heat was split in from Cara. So another good swim, but also going well in lane number 2. It's Laura Kinley of the Isle of Man.
Yeah, really good swim from her. Personal best time of 1:09.71. So she knows if she wants to make it back in the final tonight, she's got to be in and around that.
So Sarah Vasey of Loughborough National Centre, coached by Mel Marshall, of course, Adam Peaty's coach, our British Olympian. And she's looking good in the final heat of the women's 100 breaststroke. It looks like a sub 1:10 will make it through. Oh, my goodness me. Well, it's going to be very, very close, because Abby Wood saying 1:10 will get through. Abby Wood's time, 1:10.00. That'll be interesting to see whether she makes it in the top 8 with that. She's going to be right on the edge.
Yeah, it'll be really close. We heard her speaking yesterday after another one of her wins, and she said how she's just here looking to swim 10 or 8, I think it was, really consistent swims. So 4th there, 1:10.00, just ahead of Lily Booker in 3rd.
Well, there was 9 100s, split 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and look at that. Abby Wood has made it through in 7th, so she'll get an outside lane. She'll be in lane 1 for the final. Cara Hanlon in fastest, Vasey, Clark, van der Merwe, they're all in there, aren't they? All the big guns. It's going to be a good final tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Sometimes we come to these major championships and we're not sure which events will be really strong, which events maybe have a little bit of a gap, but both Imogen, Sarah and Abby swimming quite well this morning, and I'm sure Abby will kind of go away. She might rest up and she'll try and come back tonight and just give it one last go.
Well, let's hope so. It's Very good swimming indeed from many of the competitors here. So many times we've spoken about season's best, and it seems to be, if it's not a season's best, it's a lifetime best, and that's really amazing. The volume, this must be the most successful British Championships ever in terms of swimmers delivering lifetime best. Here's the call room for the men's 200 backstroke, and the British record you can see on that caption held by Luke Greenbank at 1:54.43, and he was our Olympic bronze medalist in this event, the men's 200 back.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal swimmer there, Luke, and really looking forward to him swimming this morning. He wasn't necessarily the quickest in the 100 back heats and was really lucky to make it back in that A final, so I'm sure he'll be wanting to correct that this morning and come here and swim well today.
So the first heat of the men's 200 metres backstroke is actually heat 4, because we have 7 heats of the 200s in this morning's session, and if there's any more than that, those heats are swum in a lunchtime session. So heats 1, 2 and 3 will be swum at lunchtime. This is heat 4, and David Miller of University of Bath is the fastest seed in the centre, but gone off very quick right at the top there. Henry Gray of Chelsea and Westminster.
Yeah, Henry's had a really good week so far this week, so no doubt he's wanting to add this 200 backstroke to his 200 fly selection for the European Youth Olympic Games. So another one of these swimmers who didn't train a lot in lockdown, worked on his strength, probably grew a lot like most of these young boys have, and has come here and swam really well and took a lot of time off his personal best in his entry times.
There he is right at the top with that blue hat, and he's got a lovely stroke. I have to say, he's nice and balanced. Looks like he's working his legs reasonably well, but not too hard down this first 100. So important not to use your legs too much in the first 100 of a 200 backstroke, because you'll need them in the second. And if those legs start dropping, your whole body position changes and it makes it really hard.
Yeah, he had a really good turn there, maximised 10 metres underwater, and you want to not just maximise that underwater in terms of distance, but also in terms of speed and that transition into the breakout.
So still going well right at the top there is Henry Gray, coached by Lisa Bates at Chelsea and Westminster. And he is of an age, you're right, Amy, to swim in that European Youth Olympic team. But now starting to come through and starting to come over him is, in lane number 4, David Miller, 4 and 5. Miller's in 4, Lawton's in 5.
Yeah, some swimmers in this 200 backstroke have a really good back end, and we saw David out the first 100 quite controlled, and he's really started to increase his stroke rate throughout this last 100 metre mark.
Also going well in 6 is Donatas Draxius of Mount Kelly, and if he can bring it home, he's going to be right on a lifetime best. This is a really good swim from the leader, though. That is David Miller of University of Bath. His lifetime best was 2:09.21. It is now it was 2:11.21. It's now 2:09.45. Really good from him. That was a great swim.
Yeah, he had a really good finish there, and I think lane 1 as well, Thomas Maskell came back really well on that last length to finish second. 2:10.49 from him, another, well, an exactly 2-second lifetime best.
Well, it's all over the place, these lifetime bests. It's almost impossible to pick them all up. Trying to look all the way through. I've got down to the first 3 setting lifetime bests so far. Jacob Yule was 4th in a 2:11.34, and Jacob's lifetime best was 2:12.3. So it just keeps going. First 4 and counting lifetime bests in that the first heat of the men's 200 metres backstroke.
Yeah, as you said, it's almost impossible to keep an eye on all 10 swimmers in the pool, all of them swimming season's best, if not personal best. So, as we keep saying, the athletes are coming here, they're swimming really well, and they're showing up in terms of performances and getting those tactical things right, which they might have worked on in lockdown, getting those performance goals that they've maybe had in mind for a few years, and the two things are kind of marrying together, and swimmers are swimming quick left, right and centre at this British Championships.
So we're just checking the board. There is the winner just walking past, just checking the scoreboard, making sure there's no disqualifications in that first heat of the men's 200 back. David Miller first to touch, the 23-year-old. And I think we've just had confirmation. Yes, we have. That, thank goodness, all good. So David Miller wins it. Maskell second. Dragasius third of Mount Kelly. fourth was Schlipper. And all of them certainly doing lifetime bests, and probably more besides. Heat 5, the men's 200 back. Conor Massey of Aberdeen Performance, the fastest seed in 4. Harry Shalaman in 5. Mark Edmondson of Team Bath in 3.
So we see the swimmers there now using what we call a backstroke ledge, and lane 6 there not having the best start, and sometimes those athletes, even though with the wedge, can maybe slip a little bit. They have a little bit of a hard time with that, but lanes 4 and 3 here this morning going out really well.
Well, they certainly are. In fact, also going very well is in lane number 5, Harry Shalaman of Loughborough University. And Shalaman in 5, Edmondson in 3. And those two guys, well, they've started well. Look at that, really good turn from lane number 3, Mark Edmondson of Team Bath. And this will be interesting to see how they go on the second 100, because it's so important not to go off too quick, particularly on backstroke. And it's a bizarre one, isn't it? Because the legs on backstroke really do get tired, if they're not fit enough, of course, but 2, if you work them too hard down that first 100.
Yeah, you want to be using your legs for almost balance on backstroke in particular with this 200. To kind of do that, you want to maybe think about really engaging through your core to connect your arms and legs together, not necessarily forgetting that the bit in the middle ties them together. So
Harry Shalaman of Loughborough University. Interesting, Loughborough at the Loughborough National Centre, we have, well, at the Loughborough pool, we've got swimmers who swim for the university, Loughborough University, and we also got the swimmers swimming for the Loughborough National Centre, which is for almost the pro swimmers, I suppose you could call it. So let's watch the turn of the second swimmer here in lane number 3, Mark Edmondson. Really good underwater, still underwater, look, still underwater. Just popped up now and had a cracking turn.
Yeah, he was almost off the screen there as he transitioned into his breakout. So as we see these swimmers get bigger and stronger, they're maximising that underwater distance, and you can take up to 15 metres underwater if you're able to do so and do it fast.
So the lifetime best is 2:06.2 for the leader, Harry Shalaman. His season's best 2:10, and he's just smashed his season's best and also his lifetime best. Wow, what, 7/10, 8/10 of a second lifetime best for the winner there, Harry Shalaman of Loughborough University.
Yeah, both swimmers in the centre having really fast personal bests on paper. Maybe not quite the season's best they'd have liked, but they've both come here this morning and they've got back down to their lifetime bests and have had really good swims there.
And it is, I find it fascinating to see which swimmers do use, or particularly on the 200, use all of that 15 metres underwater, because it's not easy, but if you can use it and do it well, my goodness me, it gives you a good kick forward, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a really hypoxic skill to develop, and you can practice it in training. So a lot of the time you might work 15 metres underwater, you might do it slow, you might do it fast, choose to add some fast bursts underwater and hold your breath, and the more you practice that, the more you can develop that skill.
And Shalaman wins that heat 5 of the men's 200 backstroke, and Edmondson, really good proponent of those underwaters that Amy Wilmot was just talking about. Of course, Amy, triple Olympian, double Olympic finalist on the 400 medley, and I'm sure you used that a lot. Well, question, did you use it as much as you could have done on the 400 medley? It's tough to do it on that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really difficult to go from the butterfly into the backstroke, especially, and hold your breath. It's really easy to just stick your chin on your chest and try and hold your air that way, but it doesn't kind of keep you in that nice streamlined position.
So now into heat 6 of 10 in this men's 200 backstroke. And no lane 3, so Charlie Broom of Leeds has withdrawn. And Jolan Bennett of Stockport Metro, the fastest seed in 4. William Ellis in 5 from Brookes University. I think that's Oxford Brookes, isn't it? In 5, and 6, Oscar Dodds of City of Leicester.
Yeah, we're also missing lane 7 in this heat this morning, so a few swimmers missing, but it's great for those other swimmers in here to maximise the opportunity. There's 2 less competitors almost in their heat this morning, so 2 more chances for them to make it back in the finals tonight.
Indeed, so Cameron Travis of Aberdeen Performance has withdrawn in 7, but his teammate is in there and is swimming very well in the white hat there, up in 8. Jamie Ferguson. And Jamie's first 75 metres looking very good. Beautiful backstroke, really flowing. A little bit limpy maybe, but it's a nice stroke with that orange suit up there in 8.
Yeah, he's got a lovely still head position, so his head's not moving at all. It's fixed, and he's probably following a nice straight line on the ceiling. So although he has a little bit of a bob, it almost doesn't matter because it's still really powerful.
You know what, I was probably a little bit harsh, actually, because it looks very smooth, and he's going really well. And he's dragging through the guys next to him as well, which is good to see. Jordan McPhail, 1 lane up in lane 9 in the green hat of Wickham and District. And then starting to come back really well in 6 is Oscar Dodds, the youngster from City of Leicester.
Yeah, he's of the age to qualify for the European Youth Olympic Festival there. So the fastest swimmer in that event, the fastest swimmer in the 4x200 and the 400 individual medley is usually selected for that team. So if Oscar can swim a quick time this morning, it gives him a really good chance of being picked to be on that team this summer.
It really does, and he's going well. 1 lane up from those little yellow lanes in the centre. That is Oscar Dodds, the 15-year-old from City of Leicester, and this is an impressive second 100. And if he can bring this home, this will be fascinating. See if he can get under 2:10. I think he's going to be well under that. His lifetime best 2:08.8. And my goodness, he's miles ahead of it. He's just gone a 2:06. Very nearly went 2:05. If he'd hit the finish right, he can do that this evening, because I'm sure he'll get another swim. 2:06.0, and his lifetime best was 2:08.8.
Yeah, that's really quick. Some of the boys coming up in the heats behind him will be thinking that they better get a move on this morning now. So really good swim from him. And as Andy said, he had a really strong last 100 to that race. And that's what backstroke swimming's all about. Not necessarily how fast you can get out, but when everybody else starts to tire, how quick you can come back at the end.
So Oscar Dodds wins it. A really good swim from the 15-year-old. Ferguson second, Bennett third, Thompson fourth. Wow,
Yeah.
look at that. Sorry, Amy, top 6 under 2:10.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jamie Ferguson also in that race on a lifetime best of 3 seconds. So these boys really pulling each other to swim well this morning.
There's Luke. Look at those goggles. Right in the centre, the black hat, just sticking his hat on. Don't see many male swimmers with a little man bun at the back of the head, but he quite likes it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know when he gets to senior competition, he shaves a little bit off the bottom to make sure he's super streamlined.
Off the bottom of the bun?
Like the back of his head, almost. Or the bit on his neck.
Okay. So he keeps the big lumpy bit and then shaves the back of his neck. Is that right?
Fashion.
Oh, fashion. Absolutely right. Shave it. So Luke will be in the final heat. So this is heat number 7 of this men's 200 metres backstroke, the last of the unseeded heats, and there is no lane 8. So Alexander Sargent of University of Stirling has withdrawn, but a really beautiful stroke in the centre there. Jack Sherry of New Hall, well, really long. Reminds me of the Japanese world champion, Iria. Beautiful still head, very long, very tall and slim-looking stroke. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. It is a world-class technique there. He's not using his legs at all, and they are almost there, essentially just for balance. So be good to see if he can really use them on the last 100, because he looks really comfortable coming down this second 50.
Well, this is really, really impressive. He is, what is he, still only 17 years of age, Jack Sherry. He's of European junior age, and if he can keep this going, life's going to be pretty good for him. Just starting to slow a little bit into the 100 metres turn.
Yeah, you want to try and get round those walls as well, nice and quickly. Not just use the bit underwater, but get over with that last stroke and have a really tight turn.
So it is in lane number 4, Jack Sherry of New Hall leading. Second, it looks like it might be the green hat up there of Millfield Schools, Connor Cherrington in 6, and also going well in 1 is Oliver O'Halloran of Derwent side.
Yeah, having a really good third 50 there, Oliver down in lane 1. He's kind of flown under the radar a little bit on that first 100, and he's really a little bit long over those walls, and he does come up really quickly, but he's obviously got one of the fastest swimming strokes in that race.
Well, Jack got a little bit tired, went out to it a little bit quick maybe in lane number 4, and is suffering for that early pace, but going really well still is Oliver O'Halloran of Derwent's in 1. There he is with that white hat. Also going well still is Connor Cherrington of Millfield School. And these two guys are going to be battling out for first and second in this heat 7 of the men's 200 metres backstroke, the last of the unseeded heats. It looks like it may be from Millfield School, is it? Who gets the touch? It is actually Oliver O'Halloran of Derwent's 2:06.64. New season's best for him. And really good swimming. It's just everywhere, isn't it? Season's best, lifetime best, season's best, everywhere.
Yeah, some quick swimming there, and I thought Connor Sherrington might have had that right into the wall, but he was just a little bit long, maybe mistimed that, and it was super close between him and Oscar Dodds in the heat before, but still a personal best time.
So Halloran wins it, Cherrington second, Turner third, Jones fourth, and it's hotting up, it really is. And it needs to, because the next 3 heats are the fastest 30 and the 3rd fastest seed coming into this British National Championships for 2022.
Brodie Williams giving us a little bit of a wave there.
You know what's been really good about this meet, I think, is the way that the swimmers are starting to interact much more with the media, with the television, because it used to be not so long ago that it was sort of an enemy and stay away, and I got the feeling that swimmers weren't particularly comfortable with it. But now with all the swimmers who are getting so used to it, like your Peaties and your Guys and your Deans and your Kathleen Dawsons and your Anna Hopkinses, Olympic champions all over the place, they just seem that much more relaxed with the television. And it's such a good idea, because it happens. You can't get away from it in the Olympics. It's in your face. Did you enjoy having the camera close to you? Were you comfortable with that? How did you deal with that?
Yeah, I didn't really mind it too much. I think I was aware that there was cameras in the call room and there are cameras following you around the pool, but you just try and focus on what you're there to do. And if you do see the camera, it's nice to give you them a little bit of a wave, like Brodie Williams there this morning. So, yeah, it's just something that now comes with being a senior international swimmer.
Well, certainly over the years, you see the Americans and the Australians so comfortable with the media, and it's almost been a little bit of a battle over, I don't know, probably a good long time ago. But as we've started getting more success, and certainly the coaches as well as the swimmers, getting much more relaxed. People like Dave McNulty, Dave Hemmings, Tiggy. I mean, just so many really relaxed, highly professional, super quality coaches as well. It just seems to be becoming the norm. And I think really one of the things that wasn't great and now is becoming really, really good in British swimming.
Yeah, the publicity that Adam PT gets especially is really good for our sport, and it's something that we've almost been fighting for a long time. So fingers crossed one day swimming will be one of the #1 sports in Great Britain, because we are now becoming really successful.
Well, Elliot Clogg in lane number 4 from Loughborough National Centre. Cam Booker leading at the moment in 5, although it looks like Clogg's coming back a little bit. But it is really tight coming in. Look at this, there's like 5 or 6 swimmers right in the centre there. Brooker over first, Clogg second, Edwards third, Marshall fourth.
Yeah, Jonathan Marshall there was out quite quick, and he was the winner of our junior 100-metre backstroke title.
Well, the charge now coming from Elliot Clogg in the centre, 4th on the 100. Brooker, one lane leading, 1 lane up in that yellow lane, 5th on the 100 metres backstroke, so 4th and 5th on the individual. And they're playing with each other, look at this. Clogg now leading. And Clogg's last 25 metres, well, it was something else, wasn't it? He just decided, I'm going to win it, and took off 2:01.1. Well, it's still a good long way outside of his lifetime best, but he was just a bit of a crowd pleaser, wasn't it, playing with him?
Yeah, he looked nice and controlled there this morning, and Elliot's coached by Mel Marshall at the Loughborough National Centre, and trains alongside Luke Greenbank, so he's coming up in a couple of heats' time, and it'll be really interesting to see how these teammates have swam this morning. So Cam Brooker following just behind Elliot Clogg there, Caden Edwards in 3rd from the city of Cardiff.
And here's the big man. He goes in the final heat. There's one more before he goes in. It is Luke Greenbank. He's our Olympic bronze medalist on the 200 metres backstroke. And next to him, Craig McNally. Fantastic. I saw him swim, I think it was in 2011 in Shanghai at the World Championships. He took on Ryan Lochte head-to-head and took him down. Really good to see.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, Craig, and made his first Commonwealth Games in 2010, so he's looking to make his 4th Games here this week.
So this heat 9, the second last heat of the men's 200 backstroke. And the Bath National Centre's Brodie Williams, the fastest seed in 4. British Olympian, 200 backstroke, 400 medley, great 400 medley swimmer. A silver on the 100 backstroke here. Second last heat of the men's 200 backstroke. Lane 1 has scratched. That's Jeremy Kemp of Brompton. So there's a spare lane between lane 0, Tom Barden, and lane 2, Oliver Morgan of University of Birmingham.
Yeah, I just want to pick up on Brodie Williams there at the start of that race. It was really interesting to see him almost giving that wedge a little bit of a tug. We have in the past seen them not be in position properly and sometimes slip down the wall, and the last thing you want is for that to happen at an international level. So Brodie's one of these athletes that has had that happen to him before, and he makes sure that it doesn't happen now every time he gets into race.
I think that was the infamous European Championships, wasn't it, Amy?
Yeah, it was such a shame to see that happen. He was dead last to about 30 metres because of that malfunction with the wedge. So when you get a good start, it's a really good thing and they're of use, but if they malfunction and mess up a little bit, it can just throw you totally off.
Well, he's looking really good here. 57.99 to his feet. That's not shabby at all. Comes up at about 12 metres, and he actually looks really comfortable. One lane closer to us is Jay Lelliott of the City of Sheffield swim squad. And he looks good too. So it's Williams leading for the Bath National Centre, Lelliott second, and then really close indeed for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Yeah, Brodie does just have such a lovely stroke, and he was our semi-finalist in the 200 backstroke alongside Luke Greenbank, who obviously went on to win that bronze medal out in Tokyo last summer.
So Williams leading, Jay Lelliott second. He's actually a medalist on the 200 fly earlier this week. So very, very versatile indeed. But Brodie Williams looks good. He had a really fantastic Olympic trials to make that British Olympic team go out to Tokyo. Learnt an awful lot over there in Tokyo, and I'm sure this year he will put all of that into great practice, and hopefully we'll see him on the medal podiums in the summer at the World Championships, maybe the European Championships, the Commonwealth Games. And Williams looks good, 2:00.81. Lelliott second, 3rd was Charlie Brown, 4th was Toby Hill.
Yeah, Brodie's slightly faster than that heat before, and he looked really nice and controlled there, so probably doing just enough to make it back to tonight.
Well, he looked very comfortable indeed, didn't he? And he won it, well, by what, 2 seconds? 2.04 he was ahead of Jay Lelliott in second, Charlie Brown third, and those first 3 swimmers underneath 2 minutes 4. So it looks like that may well be the standard to beat if you're going to make sure that you have a chance of making this final. And there is Craig McNally, your University of Stirling teammate, and right next to him, Luke Greenbank in lane 4 for Cockermouth, and this is Bath National Centre, isn't it?
Yeah, he came from a really great training programme in Cockermouth where Sean Barr has developed some really amazing junior swimmers. So he left there in good hands, and now he's under Mel Marshall's guidance at the Bath National Centre.
Actually on the programme, swimming for Cockermouth here. That's an interesting one, isn't it? But anyway, there we go. And his brother is in lane 7. So Luke Greenbank in 4, Sam Greenbank in 7. And some say Sam Greenbank is on the right trajectory to keep on going. Wouldn't it be great if he could beat his brother's performances, his brother's results? Must be hard, mustn't it, to have a superstar brother? But as quick as Sam Greenbank is, I'd be pretty happy to just keep on going. Olympic rings on his left arm. That is Olympic bronze medalist Luke Greenbank in 4. Interesting head position there, head right back on the start.
Yeah, he has a good starting position. He keeps his hips nice and high, so his chest is open and his head's back. Ultimately, you want to go down that way, so that's what you really want to be thinking about. But look at lane 2 here. Our 50 specialist from earlier on in the week is really taking this race out, and he's not messing around at all.
I wouldn't be too surprised if he's going for a time here on the 100, you know, because this is lightning. You don't go this far ahead of Luke Greenbank on the first length of a 200 meters backstroke. So I think he's going for time here. I think he actually trains out in the States. I think he trains at Cal Berkeley. This must be a time trial for 100. He hasn't told anyone, but Sebastian Somerset of Loughborough University won the A final of the 50 meters backstroke, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he stops here. Let's have a look. Yeah, he does. There you go. 54.6. That's not bad at all. 57.2 to his feet is Luke Greenbank. So now he's stopped. Well, he's stopped, and that's the end of that for him. But sometimes a little bit annoying for the rest of the swimmers, I've got to say, because if you've got somebody making waves and really ruining your pace on a different event, it's sometimes a little bit annoying, that.
Yeah, I would like to think he'd maybe told a few of the boys in the race before that this is what his plan was and this is what he's going to be doing, because there are a few times when I've swam 400 medley at slightly lower rank competitions instead of 400 freestyle, but I let everybody know before I get in that that's what I'm going to do, and I almost use them to my advantage.
I suppose he may have told them, and we don't really know. He's still going back the other way. Look, he's exhausted, and rightly so. 54.6. But Luke Greenbank here, well, he's a brilliant 200 meters backstroker. Interesting turnover, nice quick turnover, a little bit quicker than we've seen maybe on the last 50 of his 200s before. So maybe he's just practicing that a little bit. But the time is good. The time is very good. Well, that is a surprise. 1:58.2. Didn't need to go that fast. Maybe he learns a little bit from his heat of the 100 meters backstroke, Amy.
Yeah, he's probably thinking, I don't want to be in one of the outside lanes again. And even though he went on to win that race earlier in the week, it was probably quite important for him to come and swim well in the heat, as well as coming back tonight and looking to drop some more time.
And he seems to be a very laid-back guy. Is he as laid-back as he comes over?
Yeah, he's just a really nice person to have on the team, really friendly. And you know that he's quite often one of the first ones in the pool and one of the last ones out. So to see him come here and swim well this morning was, yeah, it was a really nice thing and a really nice swim for him to post in a quick time as well.
Well, his time, saying a quick time, maybe, you're absolutely right. That's actually the 10th fastest time in the world this year. Remarkable. 10th fastest time in the world this year for Luke Greenbank to win the final heat of the men's 200 meters backstroke. 1:58.24. Wow. James McFadden was second, Craig McNally third, Jacob Greenhow fourth. So we'll have to see who's made it through to the final. But there's going to be some big guys in there. Look at this. So the final will be Greenbank, Williams, Clogg, Brooker, McFadden, McNally, Edwards and Lelliot. That's going to be a super final.
Yeah, really close from some of these boys this morning. I think we'll see Luke drop a little bit of time tonight, and it'd be nice if Brodie Williams could go with him. The consideration time for the Worlds this year is 1:56.08, so these boys have got a little bit of time to make up tonight if they want to get close to that.
And Sam Greenbank finished 17th. Not quite sure if there'll be anyone from foreign countries. We actually have an open heats here, so anyone can come and swim from any country, but making it through to the finals, we decided to keep just the finals for British swimmers only, which is absolutely right. So young Sam Greenbank finishing 17th. Not quite sure if we'll make it through to the B final or not. We'll have to see.
Here's the girls ready for the women's 100 meters butterfly. So we've got some fast swimmers coming up here. We've got Laura Stevens, our 200 butterfly champ from earlier in the week, and we've got Harriet Jones, our Olympic 100 meter butterfly specialist. So lots to look forward to in the next 7 heats of this 100 butterfly.
I just love that, because they all sit up. There's a television screen in there, so they can see that picture themselves, and they can all see themselves. The way they react to it, it just makes me smile. Fantastic. Interesting starting 4. Well, that really is fascinating. Not seen that before. It was Faye Rogers from Aberdeen Performance. And she is in the white hat right in the centre, but probably the best start coming right at the top there from Blythe Kinsman of Mount Kelly. Really good start from her.
Yeah, she's had a really good start there. Nice and high stroke rate going down this first length. And 50 metres butterfly, you can't really afford to get left behind. You also want to make sure that you're carrying enough momentum so you spot this first 50 turn, and Blythe Kingsman at the top of the field there has done just that.
Well, she's turned well And on this 100 meters butterfly, if she can hold her stroke coming back, this could be a very good swim indeed. Now, the rest of the field starting to come back at her. In lane number 5, it's Lola Davison of Derwent's side. Down in 2, Drew Nellie McKenzie of City of Glasgow.
Yeah, lots of these swimmers have swam in multiple events this week. So coming into the finish here, we have lane 2, just edging as we come the last 5 meters. That's Drew Nell McKenzie. But finishing in lane 6 was Phoebe Cooper. So we've seen her in the pool in, I can't even remember how many events, and she has showed us time and time again that she's got the ability to finish races really well, and she sneaks the finish there in a time of 1:03.44 in a new personal best time.
Well, she came back that last 5 meters, Amy, really quick. The 14-year-old from City of Sheffield to set a new lifetime best. Doesn't seem particularly happy with it, does she? She has swum, you're right, so many times this week. She's had a really busy schedule. Go on, smile. PB. Go on. You know you want to.
She's probably terrified of the camera. I don't think I was that confident when I was 14, 13 and the camera would swing by, but she swam well this morning, so rightly so that the limelight and the focus is on her from winning Heat 5 this morning.
There's another little delay. I have to say, these officials have done a super job to get this this meet on. We have had the odd glitch, as you always do at major championships with the equipment. Sometimes the blocks don't work, sometimes the pads don't work. The timing pads, the electronic timing, but the way they deal with it is so good, so professional. So anyway, let's see the results. Oh, unfortunately, Faye Rogers in lane 4 there did get disqualified from Aberdeen Performance, but no doubt about the winner. A new lifetime best from Phoebe Cooper of the City of Sheffield, and Drew Nellie McKenzie very nearly won it. Mount Kelly's Blythe Kingsman, lifetime best for her in 3rd. So Heat 6 of 11. Libby Freeman of Morpeth, the fastest seed in lane 4.
Yeah, just above her, Annabelle Smith from Bromley.
So there's 5 juniors in this Heat 6 of the women's 100 meters butterfly. Very good start from lane 4, Libby Freeman of Morpeth.
Yeah, we keep saying how important it is to make sure that these skills are sharp and that you're working on these things in training. And if you can get 0.2 off the start and settle into that first 50 of any race nice and comfortably, you just give yourself a really nice start to be in control for the rest of your swim.
And although it wasn't the quickest actually off the blocks, the momentum that Annabelle Smith took off into that first stroke from Bromley was very impressive indeed in lane number 5, and she's kept it going and kept it going well. Yeah,
really nice and low, tight turn as well, using that wall to her advantage so she can accelerate down the second 50 of this 100 meters.
So Annabelle Smith in the upper of those 2 yellow lanes in 5 from Bromley, leading at the moment. Also going well right at the bottom is Annabelle Wilkinson of City of Sheffield. And how many times we've talked about Sheffield this week. It really has been super impressive. 5, it's going to be Smith of Bromley wins it. She does. Second is at the bottom, Annabelle Wilkinson. Very close indeed for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Second was 63.6. Third was 63.8, Ellie O'Keefe. And 4th in lane number 7, 63.92.
Yeah, lifetime best there from Annabelle Smith from Bromley, shaving 0.6 off her personal best to finish in a 63.33.
0.6 lifetime best on 100. I'd love to do that. That's things you dream about, isn't it?
Especially as you get older. 0.1 of a PB you're almost ecstatic with, so 0.6 on a 100 meters butterfly is a really nice amount of time to be dropping, especially in a heat.
So this Heat 7 of 11 in this women's 100 fly, and Sky Carter, the fastest seed, the 14-year-old in lane 4, coached by Dougie Campbell, great Olympian and Commonwealth representative for Scotland. Trained in the States for a while, also trained in Dundee, I believe, with his brother. So this Heat 7 of 11, and Sky Carter in that orange hat started really well, and at 14 years of age, showing some super skills.
Yeah, she's got such a lovely stroke here. Not the biggest person in the pool, but she's got a nice high turnover. Her chin is quite low to the surface as well, which is what we want in butterfly swimming. And you can tell she must be working on some of those skills in training, because my butterfly technique didn't look that nice when I was 13, 14 years old.
Well, it does take a lot of work, doesn't it? Just to make sure that you use your energy to go forwards, not lifting your head up to breathe, but too high, just the minimum necessarily. The minimum necessary in 4. This second 50 metres, certainly the first 25 of it's very good. And Sky Carter starting to swim away from the field, the 14-year-old. Also going well is Eliza Pinkston of Stockport right at the top, but Sky Carter in 4. Looks like she's going to get it. Can she hit the finish? Oh, finished a little bit short. She'll learn that. I'm sure Dougie will have a quick chat with her about that, because she can go even faster than that. 62.6, 62.65. A huge lifetime best again. Look how well done.
Yeah, big smiles from Sky there this morning, and a lifetime best of almost 1 second. So finishes there in a time of 1:02.65, and is Eliza Pinkston just behind her from Stockport Metro, and Jen King third from the University of Stirling.
And the first 2 were juniors. The first 2 set lifetime bests. And that was some good swimming. So heat 8 of 11. The last of the unseeded heats. Maisie Thornton of University of Surrey, fastest seed. In 5, Shannon Stott of Hatfield was third in the B final of the 200 fly. So coming down to the 100 here. And the last morning of heats at this British National Championships 2022.
Lovely start there from the girl at the bottom of the picture in lane 0. So that's Catherine Ellen from Poole, coached by Barry Aldrich. And it's good to see some of these swimmers in the outside lanes stepping up and swimming really quick first thing. And day 6 isn't an easy one to be coming here and performing. So really good start from some of these swimmers.
Also look at lane 7 and 9, Ella Chown of Swim Bournemouth and Holly Widows of Mount Kelly. A number of times I've talked about Holly Widows of Mount Kelly, number 1 and 2 in lane 9. She seems to get lane 9 every time and swim really well, but she's going well at the top. But right in the centre there in 5, it looks like Shannon Stott at the moment with 25 metres to go is going really well.
Yeah, she's really started to increase her leg kick. The second kick on butterfly is really important to make sure that you're driving forwards and you're staying nice and low on that breath.
And good discipline for both of these leaders. The pink cat in the centre there is Shannon Stott of Hatfield, and also at the top, Holly Widows, breathing 2s, gets her hands in first. 62.2, a good swim, a new season's best for her. A good 1.5 seconds underneath her season's best this year. So a good heat from Holly Widows up there in lane number 9 from Mount Kelly, and a lovely smile as well with it. Well done.
Yeah, she's got lots to be happy about this week. Junior champion in the 50 fly, and finishes first in heat 8 there in a time of 62.20. Just ahead of Shannon Stott from Hatfield, and Molly Chambers from Doncaster Darts coming in third in a time of 62.81.
The last 3 heats of the women's 100 metres butterfly. And it is the last women's event at this British National Championships for 2022. So we've got the last 3 heats, they're the seeded heats. And third fastest seed coming into these championships is in lane 4, the silver medalist on the 200 metres butterfly, Kiana McInnes of the University of Stirling. Also keep an eye out in lane number 8 up there, Ashley Bailey of City of Sheffield. We'll talk about her in a second. So McInnes in 4, Bailey up there in 6, Chloe Harris, really good medley swimmer. I actually announced, I think, on medley that she was a really good breaststroker. She's a flyer, but had a good breaststroke as well.
Yeah, Georgina Pryor there, though, in lane 3, really getting out first on this 100 metres butterfly. She was third in the individual 50, so we knew she'd be out quick this morning. And Kiana McInnes above her has got an excellent back end, so starting to tie up as they come into this first turn.
So Pryor touching well. I thought she went in first, but McInnes actually got the touch first. That was interesting to see. Really good underwater from lane 3, Georgina Pryor. The fastest swimmer is Kiana McInnes through the water, but the starts and turns of Pryor really good.
Yeah, she's got really good skills, and Kiana breathing every 3, I think, down this second 50, so she really works on that in training, and that hypoxic skill we spoke about coming into play now.
And the stamina from the silver medal on the 200 metres butterfly for McInnes really showing in this second 50. On this, the 100. McInnes wins it good. Sub 60, 59.75. That's a good solid heat swim for her. Lovely little smile as well, just a little cheeky smile saying, yeah, I've done the job in the morning. It's exactly what she needed to do.
Yeah, personal best time's 58.7, so to come in the heats and swim 59.7, just 1 second shy of that, is a pretty good swim there from her this morning, and the only swimmer so far to break 60 seconds.
And we'll keep an eye on the times, because 60.5 was second in that heat, so it looks like the swimmers in these next 2 heats, the fastest 2 heats, if they can go sub 60.5, they're fairly certain to make it through. And there is our national champion on the 200 fly, Laura Stevens, Tokyo Olympian. Swam really well on that 200 fly. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, she had a really good 200 metres, but I know she'll be looking to come and swim this 100 well, because ultimately there's a spot on a relay team this summer. She can be the fastest Brit.
So Stevens of the Loughborough National Centre in 4. So Perry in 3 of Aberdeen Performance, Laura Stevens in 4, our Olympian on the 200 fly in fastest sea, Tane Bruce in 5 for University of Edinburgh, and 6 is Betsy Wizard of Northampton.
Yeah, I just want to quickly comment on Laura's stroke in the middle there. A lot of the time people think she's looking around and she's looking to the side, but she's just got a slight angle with her head position, and some swimmers have breathed all the way to the side in the past, and it just depends on personal preference really. And for Laura, having that slight angle means she can stay really flat to the surface.
And Tane Bruce in 5, turning 11/100ths of a second ahead of Laura Stevens. And expect Laura to come back well on the second 50. She's a really good 200, but Tane Bruce 7th on the 50 fly, where she's got good speed and she's holding it really well in 5 at the moment.
Yeah, both of these swimmers coming down nicely into this last 15 metres. We want to see heads down now for the last 10 metres or so, and just getting the finish, it looks like it's going to be Laura, and it is Laura Stevens in a time of 59.50, just ahead of Tane Bruce in second, 59.78, and third was Yasmin Perry from Aberdeen Performance, 60.72.
And job done really there, I think, for Laura Stevens, and just ducking under the 60 seconds, 59.5, looked reasonably comfortable, although maybe working it a little hard down the second 50. When you're not fully rested, the natural speed, you've got to really work it. It is not that easy, is it?
Yeah, sometimes that easy speed that you would expect to get down the first 50 is pretty challenging, but to back it up and be able to work hard down the second 50 is almost just as important. And when you're not rested, that's the bit that really hurts.
So the fastest seed in this women's 100 metres butterfly goes in lane 4. In the last heat, it's Harriet Jones, the gold medalist, the national champion on the 50 metres butterfly from the city of Cardiff. Emily Large is in 5, Isabel Goodwin in 6, Candice Hall in 7, and Chiara Schlossen in 3. She's had a great meet.
Yeah, really busy final here. Or should I say final heat here, to be heat number 11 of the women's 100 metres butterfly. So Harriet Jones there in the centre of the pool, gone out really well, had a phenomenal start.
And lane number 7 has withdrawn. That's Candice Hall of City of Sheffield. She's had so many swims so far. I haven't tracked it, but I'm sure she's probably got another one in the final this evening, so maybe resting for that. But looking very good down this first 50. The gold medalist on the 50 metres is Harriet Jones of Cardiff.
Yeah, slightly long into that turn there, but turns in a 27.52, so the fastest 50 we've seen so far this morning.
And past the 10-metre mark on the underwater, coming back as well. Also coming back very well indeed is in lane number 2, Jessica Calderbank of City of Manchester Aquatics. So it's these two, Jones in 4, Calderbank in 2. Starting to come back a little bit is Emily Large of the Bath National Centre in 5. If you can go under 60.5, you're going to certainly be in the final. Let's see what the times are. Well, it's going to be really tight to make the final places in this final. No doubt about the winner, 59.11, but there's quite a few swimmers on 60.6, 60.7, 60.8, 60.9.
Yeah, really close to see some of these swimmers almost at the end there, 0.2 splitting second and third. So I think 60.93 should be enough to make it back, but we'll see in the summary in second, hopefully.
It's going to be tight, you know. 60.93 was third in that one. That was, I think it was Kara Schlossen. And look at that, 60.85. 60.85's made it, but look how close it is. There's an 8.5, an 8.7, and a 9.3 didn't make it in. And so your point, Amy, about just those starts and turns and the little details, so important. Harriet Jones in fastest, though. Laura Stevens second. And the top 16 will go through to the B final, barring any withdrawals.
Yeah, so Holly Widdles will be fastest seed in that priority Paris final.
So that was the last of the women's events at this National Championships in the heats for 2022. Of course, there's the finals this evening, and I'm sure you'll be joining us at 5:45 this evening for the pre-game show, and then 6 o'clock when the actual racing will start. And we've got 2 more events still here, though, and we've got the one that everyone's been waiting for. This is the super exciting one. It's the men's 200 meters freestyle. And is that Whittle on the left-hand side there?
Yeah, Jacob Whittle in the red hat, Cam Curl in the centre in the black jumper. And these boys this morning know they can't mess around, so they do have to step up and swim quick, because our fastest 8 swimmers in Great Britain are some of the fastest 200 freestyle swimmers in the world.
Well, in the final heat, heat 12, we've got the Olympic champion on this men's 200 meters freestyle. That is Tom Dean. And in the second last heat, Duncan Scott, Olympic silver. When was the last time Great Britain had gold and silver in the same event? Unbelievable that was. What a pleasure to be in commentating on that race, that men's 200 meters freestyle. Tokyo, it's utterly brilliant. Well, gone off like a shot right at the top there. And this is the first of the heats that we will see. It's heat 6 in the men's 200 meters freestyle. That's Ruben Visda of the city of Sheffield. No lane 5. Alexander Sargent of University of Stirling has withdrawn.
Yeah, nice to see some of these boys. They know first heat, they've got to put down a time that gives them the best chance to make it back tonight in one of those 4 finals.
So lanes 6 and 9. Caden Wellesby in 6. And in 9, still going well, is Ruben Visda of City of Sheffield, and they really have had a good meet here. And Ruben looks like he's going to turn first, and he's got a nice long lolloping stroke up the top there. Let's hope it's as easy as it looks. He's gone to his feet. Look at the kick right at the top there, at that red hat. Wow, he's really gone early. Yeah,
he came off that 100 turn there and has really looked to make a move. And another heat where we've seen swimmers from lane 9 and 0 really take it out strong, because they're the athletes that have not had the opportunity to really perform well.
Indeed, lane 9 still going well. And it's a fascinating lane, the outside, you know. I actually prefer those swimming in those, because there's no one outside you, so you get no waves from the guy outside you. Did you ever swim? You probably were always in the middle, because you were really, really super fast, but he's going really well here.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't make too much of a difference, but if you've got a lane, you've got a chance, and whether that's lane 9 or 0. So Ruben here coming into the finish really, really well. He's kept that sort of 6-beat kick up for the whole of this last 100 meters. And he takes the win in this heat 6 in a time of 1:54.15. So massive lifetime best from him. 1.5 seconds again from an outside lane.
1.5 second lifetime best. Well, I tell you what, that young man, I've seen him several times walking past us here, and he's been doing his job cheering for the City of Sheffield team, and now he's just gone in there, and Ruben Visda swam a super race, cheering his teammates all week, then steps up in the 200 freestyle and wins that first heat of the men's 200 meters freestyle that we'll see. He hits heat 6. Great swim from him. Heat 7. Fastest seed is Wyatt Walsh of Millfield in 4. Joe Cooper in 5 of Ipswich. Matt Woodall, Sheffield in 6. And in 7 in this heat 7 of the men's 200 free, Evan Davison of Perth City, the 15-year-old, coached by Elaine Johnston. And well, we'll have to see how he goes. He's up in lane 7. The guy's up in lane 8 and 9, gone off really quickly.
Yeah, as well, lane 2 down the bottom, Ben Harris. We've seen him swim lots of events this week. He took 5 or 6 seconds, I think it was, off his 400 IMPB. So he is on great form, and these boys really taking it out hard in Heat 7.
Stanislaus Chausson of Millfield School right at the top there. Started well, breathing to his right, so he won't be looking around and seeing the rest of the field here. He's got to just make sure that he keeps up with that pace, that early pace that he set, and keeps it nice and comfortable. Tactics on the 200 metres freestyle, Amy, not easy.
No, there's a lot of game tactics that go on in men's freestyle swimming. Not often the fastest swimmer is the swimmer who just really paces the race right and is able to swim over their competitors in the last 3-4 metres, sometimes even the last stroke. So it's really important to be aware of what's happening around you, but at the same time, you want to focus on your own race plan.
And still going well down in lane number 2 is Ben Harrison. Left Mount Kelly to join Loughborough University, and he's swimming well in that black hat closer to us. Looks like he may turn first or second, real tight. Barber gets the touch with 50 metres to go by 1/100th of a second ahead of Ben Harrison. George Barber up in 8.
Yeah, he got around that turn really well there and almost clinched the first position coming into this last 50.
So the black hat, there he is. It's Ben Harrison of Loughborough University. And right at the top there, it's George Barber of the city of Sheffield. And these two guys going well. Also going well, one lane closer to us in the black, from the black hat is the white hat of Cam Travis of Aberdeen Performance. A really good finish from him. But the winner is Ben Harrison, 1:53.6. Second up there in lane number 3 it was it? Yeah, I think it was.
Ben giving us a little wink there, just shows how chuffed he is with that swim, and he took it out quite brave there. He was first and second, I think it was, to 50 and 100, so nice to see him swim there, and around about his PB, but definitely a 3-second season best, so he'll be happy with that this morning.
Indeed, so the winner of Heat 7, Ben Harrison of Loughborough. Second was George Barber. And George and Ben had a right old crack, didn't they, all the way through. Impressive swimming, really impressive. Heat 8, goodness me, they're on 1:53s, and it's only Heat 7 of 12. 5 more heats to go, and you've got 1:53 already. 18-year-old Fraser Agnew of the University of Edinburgh, fastest seed in 4. He was the Scottish Schools champion before COVID. And again, one of the really interesting things we're seeing here is before COVID, some of these swimmers were just age groupers, probably hadn't really done national senior championships. Suddenly, you go from age 15, the next time you get to swim, you're age 18, and you're in a big heat at the senior national championships.
Yeah, boys grow as well so much in such a short window. So in 3 years, you can be almost a foot taller, you're a lot stronger. So there's plenty of opportunity for these boys to come here and swim personal best times. It might also be the first time where they've really rested for a major competition. So that's why we're seeing so many personal best times and massive seasons best even from some of these swimmers.
Lovely stroke from Fraser Agnew of the University of Edinburgh. Really good propulsion on his left arm. Very good indeed. A little bit quick up, not too much kick at all underwater. That's interesting. Don't often see that from the big guys. Normally you stick a couple of little butterfly kicks in, but we'll see maybe off the wall, the final wall. But he's swimming well. His swimming speed is really good, Agnew in 4.
Yeah, he's got lovely skills, and that nice kick now is starting to really build as he comes into this third 50, and it's super important when you get to this point of the race that you have an extra gear to be able to move on, and you're not one of the swimmers that's getting tired and really fading. And yeah, not the best turns from lane 4, but lane 3, Raphael swimming really well and just sitting on his hip here as he comes down the last 50.
Indeed, you're right, Amy. Raphael Fentadamas of Elmbridge Phoenix has had a good tactical race here, just starting to edge ahead maybe of Fraser Agnew of University of Edinburgh. Very tight down this last 5. Who's going to get the touch? Oh, Fraser came back, I think he did he? Yes, he did. 1:53.8 for the winner, Fraser Agnew. Second, Raphael Fentadamas of Elmbridge. And those two guys, 1:53.83 and 1:53.98.
Yeah, really close from both of those boys, but we almost see coming into the finish there that it is so important to keep your head down. Duncan Scott pops his head down with about 7 meters to go, uses that straight arm right into the wall, so it can make a massive difference. And we see 0.1 split in first and second there.
It did, and the 15-year-old was second, a new lifetime best for him. Really good swim. Rafael Fentadamas of Elmbridge, well done, sir. Heat 9, the last of the unseeded heats in this men's 200 freestyle. Ben Cope in 3, Michael Ripper in 4. 5 is Joel Thompson. And 6 is Thomas Treblecock of Plymouth Leander.
Yeah, coming up really quite early there in the centre from both of those yellow lanes. But lane 9, Solomon Williams has had a really good start.
Solomon Williams from Millfield School is pretty quick down this first 30, 35 metres. Oh, it's very fast indeed for a first 50 of a 200 metres freestyle. But if he can hold on to this, he's going to have a cracking swim. He's swum a lot here and he's swum well. Team Millfield have had a good meet. Also going well in 4 is Michael Ripper, the Loughborough University student. Lovely, long, powerful stroke. Look how he surfs off that arm, puts his hand entry in and then just surfs off it. Beautiful stroke down this first 100.
Yeah, it's really nice, breathing every 2s to his left, and we see a lot more leg kick from this heat than we've seen in a few of the heats before, so they're really picking up the pace now and know that with the seeded heats coming up, they've got to drop a quick time to make it back in one of those top finals tonight.
Well, there are 32 swimmers invited to come back from the A final, the B final, the priority Paris final for swimmers born 2001 and younger, and then, of course, the junior final as well. So lots of opportunity, but if the senior guys want to do it, they're going to have to really make it in the A or the B. And this, well, starting to hot up now. Ripper's leading, I think, in the centre, but one lane closer to us with that red hat is Ben Cope of Sheffield.
Yeah, he's moved right across to that lane rope. He's almost swimming on Michael's lane, and that third 50 for him, he did make a massive move, and it'll be really close between Michael and Joel just coming into the last 25 metres of this race.
So Ripper leading, the red hat closer to us is Ben Cope, and these two guys having a really good ding-dong down this last 10 metres, head-to-head. Ripper in the black hat, Cope in the red hat. Who gets the touch? 4 100 split them, and Ben Cope in 3 gets it, the red hat of the city of Sheffield, and in 4 it's Michael Ripper by 4 100ths of a second. 1:52.3, 1:52.37 seconds.
Yeah, Ben put his head down there, I think, with about 7 metres to go, and that was the difference between him and Michael just coming into the finish there.
And lifetime bests again for both of those swimmers by over a second. Ben Cope winning 1:52.33, second Ripper 1:52.37, and then Thompson, Bonsall, Tucker, Treblecock, all under 1:55. Muncie as well under 1:55. And here's the next heat. Well, actually, I think that may well be heat 11. Yeah, I think that's the guys waiting in heat 11 for this men's 200 metres freestyle. And this event for British swimming is absolutely stacked. There's your man in the grey top there, Amy.
Yeah, Duncan Scott, and next to him is 4x2 heat swimmer Callum Jarvis. So there are some big names coming up, and in heat 10 of this race, we have Matt Richards in lane 4 in the green suit.
Well, I haven't counted how many men in this set of heats have got Olympic gold medals, but there's an awful lot of them. Matt Richards is definitely one of them. He goes as fast as seed in lane 4. So our Olympic champion in the men's 4x200 metres freestyle relay. He went on one of the middle legs. I can't remember if he was second or third in that relay, but Matt Richards swam a blinding leg in that to make sure that Britain had a great chance of winning gold on that 4x2 free relay in Tokyo.
Yeah, it made a massive difference to the rest of the field there. And being such a young swimmer, sometimes you can get in and it can all be a little bit daunting, but he swam really well last summer, and his relay split was a phenomenal time, as was the other 3 people in that race.
Well, we should also say that Cam Curl is in lane 5. He was an Olympian in the Rio Olympics, so this is a fascinating heat. We've got some fabulous swimmers. The 17-year-old Jacob Whittle is going in 3 with a red hat, and he's now swimming with Mel Marshall in Loughborough, but first to turn, and he's gone off quick as Cam Curl. This is interesting.
Yeah, really good to see this from Cam. He swam a PB earlier in the week in his 100 freestyle, so I know he'll be looking to swim well today here, and he won't want to miss out on that A final tonight.
Well, you don't really want to be third in this heat, because with 2 big heats still to come and some very, very fast swimmers as well, Cam Curl's probably done the right thing. Don't muck about, get on with it. And I know that Matt Richards isn't fully rested. I know that Jacob Whittle's not fully rested either. But this a really impressive swim from Curl. Curl over first, Whittle second, Richards third.
Yeah, really nice swimming from Cam here, and he's got such a lovely stroke, but his leg kick's phenomenal, and you can't be a 200 freestyle swimmer of a world-class level with a weak leg kick, because we're seeing all these boys really driving from their legs.
Well, it's an amazing heat, this. He is from University of Stirling, and, well, the Commonwealth Games slot's up for grabs, but very, very important to make sure that you stick a decent heat swim in here to make sure you can get in the final, because it's not going to be easy. 1:47.7. Wow. That is a really quick swim. Well, he's tired, and I'm not surprised. That's an awesome swim for a heat.
Yeah, he'd be really tough with that, and I know he wanted to come here and swim well at the British Championships, so to set himself up quite well earlier in the week in the 100, he did just that, swam a PB, and this morning posted the quickest time so far of a 1:47.7.
Well, that was very, very fast indeed. So it looks like sub 150's got a cracking chance of making it through. Whittle's going to be on the edge. He's going to have to wait. Matt Richards, it'd be hard to see 7 more swimmers going ahead of that time, but they're looking very, very carefully. There's Jimmy Guy. There's Tom Dean, the Olympic champion. You wouldn't want to be going slow in the heats here, would you?
No, these boys know that between them, they've got to swim fast, and this is one of the events that they probably, not dread, but they know they've got to put in a shift in the heat, because there aren't any soft options, because you won't make it back in that final tonight. And here we have Duncan Scott in lane 4 and Callum Jarvis just above him in lane 5.
Well, Cam Curl gone the 8th fastest time in the world this year to win the third fastest heat. Olympic silver medalist in lane number 4 in this 200 meters freestyle. He was also Olympic silver medalist on the 200 IM, and of course gold medalist in that men's 4x2 free relay. The black hat in the center, and they're just not mucking about. Look at the speed here. This is just fascinating. I love it, absolutely love it. Duncan Scott got off, and he's going to take the guys with him, the big guys.
Yeah, Joe Litchfield had a really good start there, but already leading at the first 50 is Duncan Scott, and splitting 25.00. So slightly slower than Cam Curl in the heat before, but we know he's got such a strong last 50 meters to this event.
Well, you also got Dan Jervis of Swansea University in 2, Litchfield in 3, Duncan Scott in 4, Callum Jarvis in 5, Kieran Bird in 6. It's absolutely stacked. But look at this from Duncan Scott. Well, he's a body length ahead at the 100, 51.5. Oh, my word, this is an extraordinary... Is he going to keep going? Is he going to go for a time here? It looks like he is, you know.
Yeah, I think he will be. We said, well, he said earlier in this week that he's just wanting to come here and put in some good, strong performances. So it looks like he's after another quick time this morning and really pushing himself in this heat, even though he doesn't really have to.
Well, the British record is held by the man who's going to be the fastest seed in the next heat. That is the Olympic champion. That is Tom Dean, who set that time of 1:44.2 to win the Olympic Games, and that was a super swim. But here, look at this. He's going so well, Duncan Scott.
Yeah, he's got such a lovely freestyle technique. It almost looks effortless and breathes to that right every single time, but it's so balanced and his hips are so high.
Well, this is amazing. Joe Litchfield, 1 lane closer to us in the white hat, going well, as is Callum Jarvis, as is Kieran Bird. But look at this from Duncan Scott. 1:47.2. 1:47.2, so that's 2 1:47s win the first and the second of the seeded heats. And he looked very good indeed.
Yeah, the last 5 meters there, he almost shut down and just glided into the wall. So I think he's got more in the tank tonight. And between him, Callum Jarvis, Matt Richards, Cam Curl, and obviously coming up Tom Dean, it'll be a corker of a swim tonight. And James Guy's also thrown in the mix. You might have Stephen Milne in there. So I'm excited for that. And we haven't even seen the top 8 swimmers yet.
Well, that's our time, just the 5th fastest time in the world this year for the 2nd fastest heat in this, the men's 200 meters freestyle at the British Championships 2022. And the great thing about having a relay at the Olympic Games that wins the gold is quite simply that so many guys want to get on that team. And of course, at the Commonwealth Games, we'll have all of those home nations. So you'll have the English going against the Scottish, going against the Welsh, going against the Irish. There's our Olympic champion, Tom Dean.
Yeah, it'll be good to see so many of these boys this summer. And if they're not at the World Championships, as Andy said, they'll probably be at the Commonwealth Games. So those relays, throwing the Aussies, will be a really exciting thing to watch in Birmingham this summer.
There's just confirmation that that second last heat with Duncan Scott going the 5th fastest time in the world this year with that 1:47.22. And just setting up the timing system for this final heat of the men's 200 meters freestyle. What an event it is. In 4, double Olympic champion Tom Dean. In 5, double Olympic champion James Guy. So Dean in 4, James Guy in 5, training partners at Bath, and they're both just looking great down this first 100. Well, look how quick Tom Dean is going. He means business, doesn't he, in 4?
Yeah, he's been swimming really well here, considering he's not rested, and he says he's not in the best shape, but he swam a PB last night in that 200 individual medley. He was 49.2 or 48.2 in that 100 meters freestyle, so he's been very quick, and he looks really comfortable here down this first sort of 75 meters of the race.
Well, he's in lane number 4, Tom Dean, Olympic champion in this 200 freestyle. 1 lane up from him is James Guy, who of course was on that 4x2 free relay that won gold, also swam the fly leg of the mixed medley relay that won gold in a world record. And 1 lane up from them in 6. Can't believe we've really not spoken about him yet, Stephen Milne, Olympic silver medalist in the 4x2 free relay from Rio.
Yeah, phenomenal field here. We almost forget how many world-class swimmers we have, and James Guy, we know he's got an excellent back end, and he was one of our individual 200 freestyle swimmers for so long alongside Duncan Scott, and till Tom Dean last year and came and almost spoiled the party. So really good to see these 3 boys this morning, and they're starting to push on, and Jack McMillan here also making a move in lane 3.
Well, I don't know if Jack McMillan knows who's next to him, but I'm sure he does. But is he going to spoil the party of Tom Dean, James Guy, Stephen Milne? He looks really good, Jack McMillan. He is Irish, so he won't be able to go through to the finals this evening. So he's got to put it all down here right now. He won't be allowed to swim in the British National Championship finals. No people from outside of Britain will be allowed to do that. But Jack McMillan is going to win this heat. Yes, he does just, I think, 1:47.5. A comfortable-looking Tom Dean goes 1:47.7. And a comfortable-looking James Guy goes 1:48.1. Well, they did enough to get through to the final. I don't think they were pushing it. And Jack McMillan looked very good indeed. That's a great swim from him.
Yeah, really good from Jack, and he's just recently moved to the University of Stirling, so training alongside Duncan Scott. Those two have got a really exciting couple of months to look forward to, but the winner of that heat there, non-Irish, is Tom Dean, 1:47.77, so we'll have to wait and see what time it took to make it back tonight, but incredibly quick from our top 8 British 200-meter freestyle swimmers.
Well, the competition for places is absolutely brutal, isn't it? It's taken a 1:49.4 to get through. An Olympic champion on the men's 4x2 free relay, Matt Richards, qualifies 8th. Callum Jarvis is in there, Joe Litchfield, look at that. That is just a superb set of finalists. And they've actually got 9 in as well, because Jack McMillan won't get through, so Kieran Bird will make the final as well. So Richards will be 7th. But look, Duncan Scott fastest. That is really, really exciting. Duncan Scott's going to go head-to-head with Tom Dean, the gold and the silver. Dean and Scott. James Guy's going to be in there. It's just a belter tonight. Do not miss that. Set your alarm. The swimming will start at 6 o'clock. The show will start at 5:45 this evening. Make sure you watch it.
Yeah, the summary went that quick. I was almost trying to work out that I think actually every single swimmer in that event tonight is an Olympian from either Rio or Tokyo. So absolutely phenomenal to see British swimming on such good form. And that men's 200 freestyle is the final that all the boys want to be in. Because when you get on that world stage and you're racing against the Americans, it is one of the most fantastic swims to watch.
Well, I think we also need to work out how many medals are there, because the medalists all over that final, but how many medals they own between them. Certainly from Tokyo was brilliant, but from Rio as well, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's well into the teens. So the final 3 heats this morning are the women's 1500 meters freestyle. So I think I announced that it was the last event was the women's breaststroke, but in actual fact, I did miss this. I do apologise. So these women swimming 1,500 meters freestyle, not something that you can forget if you're in the race, most certainly. So there will be 7 heats in total today. The first 3 will be swum at lunchtime. The slowest 3 will be swum at lunchtime. And then heats 4, 5, and 6 are right now. And then the final heat will be the first race this evening and the final session, the final session. And it will be heat declared winner. So in theory, anyone from these next 3 heats could win a medal, could get in the top 8 of this 1,500 meters freestyle. But I'll just tell you who's in it, and then I've got a very special guest just join me for a second. So let me just go through the swimmers in this heat 4 of the women's 1,500 meters freestyle. And in lane 0, we've got Harriet Oxley of City of Leicester. In 1, it's Emma Willis. And Emma Willis in lane 1, 42 years of age. She's a Masters World Champion, European champion as well in the Masters swimming, age 42. She's in lane 1. In 2 is Eleanor Kay, 15 years of age. So we've got a 42-year-old in lane 1 and a 15-year-old, almost 1/3 her age in lane 2, Eleanor Kay of Bolton. 3 is Layla Flower. 4, Alman of Leeds. 5 is the 15-year-old Lucy Cox. 6 is Molly Fisher. 7, Busby. 8, Forward. And 9 is Goodrich. And down this first 150 metres, I can tell you that in lane number 2, it's Eleanor Kay leading, the 15-year-old from Bolton. Well, I have to say, while we're on the subject of youngsters, the 15-year-olds, there's 2 of them in this race. Delighted to say that I'm joined by the Associate Performance Director for British Swimming. It is the one and only Tim Jones. Welcome to the commentary box, Tim.
Morning, Andy. How are you?
Well, very well, thank you. Great to see you, and it's great to be back in touch. I know we talk quite a lot, but teammates from the Olympic Games way back when, and it's actually fantastic to see, one, that you've just got a great promotion, so congratulations on that, to be the Associate Performance Director. I'll ask you what that is in a second, but to have someone in that position who's been there and done it, it's been in the Commonwealth Games final, top 10 in the world, went to the Olympic Games, someone of that caliber. It's really great to have someone in this particular position. But tell us, Tim, what actually is the Associate Performance Director for British Swimming?
Okay, in the last 6 months, Andy, we've gone through an organisational change, and we have at the moment 3 disciplines that are funded by UK sport, invested in for success at Olympics and Paralympics. And typically we've had a business model which had 3 separate business silos, and over the past 6 months we've restructured. So in essence, we've brought those 3 disciplines together. My role alongside Chris Spice is, in essence, we oversee those as directors of performance. Chris probably takes more of a lead with the Olympic swimming program, myself with the Olympic diving and the para swimming program. But we're both overseeing and having involvement, a heavy involvement in all 3 of those funded disciplines.
Oh, it's fascinating. And I think in the recent past, you've really been looking at the pathway, making sure that juniors, delivering the juniors through from the juniors to the seniors. Is that right? Was that one of your focuses?
Yeah. So you know, my first 7 years in the business was in a role which was head of elite development, and that was focused solely on the Olympic swimming program. And the goal of the program, Andy, has always been about not necessarily achieving medal success with juniors at juniors events, although we like to do that. The most important thing has been about identifying athletes at junior level that we believe that we can work with and transition successfully to become, you know, real stars of the senior scene at Olympics, world level, and European Championship level as well.
And so you were in charge of making sure that the juniors can become great seniors. I mean, it's interesting that you don't really focus on making sure that the juniors get junior medals. I mean, the Russians are very, very good at that, aren't they? They seem to go to the European juniors and win almost everything. But your focus, less win everything at juniors, but actually make sure that they're ready to make that step up to seniors?
Yeah, so there's a subtle difference there, Andy. Look, there's a school of thought that says at junior level, the more you train and the harder you train, the faster you're going to be. But if you're not careful, you can accelerate the development of a young athlete and then find that they start to plateau when they transition or try to transition into the senior ranks. So the goal of the junior program has always been about trying to identify athletes that have got a set of skills, and those are personal skills, athletic skills, sometimes mindset skills as well, that we believe are important for our senior athletes. So it's more about sort of growing them as people and not just trying to get a swimming result at a junior age.
Well, that is a really interesting thing. Let me just update you on who's where in this race. This is the first of the heats that we're seeing this morning on the 1500 meters freestyle. It's heat 4. 1, 2, and 3 will be swum this lunchtime. And this is heat 4, so we're going to have 4, 5, and 6 right now, and then heat 7 will be in the finals this evening. And I can tell you that coming in to the 500 meters turn, Eleanor Kay of Bolton Metro had a really good first 500, so she turns first. Second in lane 5 is Lucy Fox, and 2 and 5, the two 15-year-olds. So I'm sure that Tim Jones all over knowing where they are and how they're going to make sure that they progress not only from this 15-year-old excellence through into the senior swimming. But I'm fascinated to see that you're not just looking at creating medalists at the juniors, but actually delivering them. How has that gone? I mean, have you got any examples of really good? I know you do, so I'm going to sort of lead you into it. But who are the people who've really stepped up over the last few years from the juniors to the seniors that you're really proud of?
Yeah, so there's it's important to make smart decisions. So when we identify an athlete that we think has got some exceptional talents, then we try and make individual decisions rather than necessarily just pushing them through a system to ultimately get the best result for the British senior program. So, you know, some good examples of that would be Duncan Scott. So Duncan Scott came through the junior program, swam European junior events in 2014 and 2015. At the same time, he was transitioning to the senior team as well.
I think we can count him as a success, Tim.
I think he's done all right, the boy has. And then there's other people. Tom Dean came through the program. Freya Anderson came through the program.
Yeah, Tom Dean counts, Olympic champion. So just to be clear then, so you've had both of those people, those particular guys, and let's just focus on those guys first. So we've had Tom Dean go through the program, Olympic champion 200 free. We've had Duncan Scott go through the program, Olympic silver medalist 200 free, 200 medley, gold medalist 4x2. Keep going?
Yeah,
it's not going too badly so far.
Not too bad. Matt Richards came through the program much more recently, and again, you know, Matt's quite a good example because we chose to take him to European Juniors, and he had a terrific event there in 2019. We chose not to take him to the World Junior Championships that year. We didn't think that was an important meet for his development, and clearly that didn't do Matt any harm either, because he's now an Olympic gold medalist as well.
Well, he certainly is. So out of this then, I mean, it's really interesting that your target is to get so many swimmers from junior into senior. How do you actually measure it? Do you measure it on the performance of those guys who actually step up and get medals? Is the medals the performance criteria for your success? Or what are you actually looking for in terms of your boss going, well done, Tim, that was really good. That was a great result.
Okay, look, you know, let's be clear. Then clearly we want our athletes to swim fast, and if we can find a way of getting them on the podium at junior level, we want to do that, but not at the expense, importantly, of their longer-term athlete development. So we do have a framework that we put in place 3 years ago. We call it the Optimal Athlete Development Framework, and we look at the attributes, the skills, the characteristics of our athletes. So we're trying to develop them as people, as well as being good athletes when they come to train, as well as being outstanding performers when they come into the big arena like this or an international meet, to know that they're going to rise to the occasion and they're going to make the most of the talents that they do have.
Well, it's absolutely fascinating, I've got to say. So obviously in your role then you must talk to an awful lot of the age group coaches out there in Great Britain and make sure that they're all sort of on plan. They're all make sure they're batting pointing in the right direction in terms of what it is that you want them to do. What exactly are the messages that you do give to the age group coaches? I mean, you're on national television now, so I'm sure you speak to most of them, but for those who haven't quite heard the message yet, for those youth coaches that are trying to get swimmers through to the seniors, what is the message for them?
Yeah, I think now one of the things that I think is a real strength of the program is that we try not to dictate too much how coaches coach their athletes and what their training philosophy is. So, you know, one of the beauties of our sport is that we know that when 8 athletes start a race, they've probably all come at it with a slightly different technique, with a slightly different training model that sits behind them. And I actually think the sort of the eclectic mix of different philosophies is a real strength of the program. So what we don't do is we don't tell people how many meters to swim, how many times to swim, and how they should go about the business. That's the choice of the coach. But what we do try and do is provide some clarity and at least some guidance on what the skills are that the athletes need to have if they want to become a senior athlete. You know, so we do know, you know, to be successful at the senior level, you have to be robust and resilient. You know, clearly you have to do that. You know, you have to be able to turn up to Tokyo in some fairly extreme circumstances that we had last year, and be able to perform at a given time on a given day, and that's pretty important for us.
Let me just pick you up on that in a second, because that's fascinating, but I'll give you an update on the race here. And leading at the moment in lane number 2 still is Eleanor Kay of Bolton Metro, swimming really well closer to us in that black hat from Bolton. And then up in 5, the second of these 2 leaders, second of the 2 15-year-olds, Lucy Fox of Wickham District in that green hat right in the centre. And they're quite a way ahead now of the swimmers in 3rd, 4th and 5th. 3rd just coming into your screen at the bottom of the picture there is Harriet Oxley of City of Leicester. 4th, just going into the turn at the top there, just swimming out of the picture on the right is Chloe Goodridge of Northampton Swimming Club. And 5th, Emily Forward of Mount Kelly. So this, I think, is the 1,000-metre turn. It is indeed, so they'll have 10 lengths left in this, the first of the heats that we'll see in this session of the 1,500 metres for freestyle for women. And in lane 2, it is still Eleanor Kay leading from Lucy Fox up there in lane 5. So again, the messaging to the coaches then, I mean, it was a fascinating first. Are there any other points that you don't want them to, you don't want to tell them how to do it, but you do want to make sure that those skills and drills are really good? And I guess, is there a little bit more focus at the junior level on the endurance side and making sure that the aerobic capacity is there? How do you focus those guys?
Yeah, I mean, certainly fundamentals of junior swimming, if you're going to stand a chance of progressing to seniors, that, you know, technically you have to be sound and you have to have a good endurance base, you know. So, you know, you would always make the argument to an age group program that providing they've got some decent water time, endurance, aerobic endurance is a priority, along with speed, along with good quality technique. And, you know, to get technique right at a junior age is incredibly important, because, you know, we know the reality is that it can be quite traumatic to change the technique of a senior athlete. It's a difficult thing to do because of the way their movement patterns and motor skills have been grained in over so many years. But I think, you know, one of the things that we've done pretty well this last 7 or 8 years is probably change the, you know, the mental approach of our athletes as well. And I think the sense was that if we went back to the Olympics in 2012 and the result there, we got some excellent swimmers, some outstanding swimmers, but just not always a group of swimmers that could perform at their best when it really mattered. And that's something that we've probably become an awful lot better at doing, Andy.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, it's certainly been a pleasure commentating on it, and we did have some really tough times, I guess, back in you know, the 2000 Olympics, where I think we were blank on medals there. I mean, it was such a tough one, and there was a big re-look at how everything was going. But certainly the last few cycles of Olympics has just been an absolute pleasure to start talking about all these medalists. And they do seem to have come through that program, which is great. So you've got a really busy summer coming up then, Tim. You've got a Commonwealth Games, you've got a European Championships, and of course the World Championships for the seniors. But you've also got on the junior side, there's at least 2 meets, maybe 3, but European Juniors, maybe World Juniors, and then the European Youth Olympics. What of those is your focus?
Yeah, so we'll certainly select teams for the European Youth Olympic Festival. We'll also select a team off the back of this. You know, we've set a fairly strong and comprehensive team for the European Juniors. I think we're just waiting to see what the announcements are from FINA around World Juniors. That was a meet that was supposed to take place in Kazan in Russia. They're looking for an alternate venue at the moment. Until we have some certainty and confirmation around that, we'll hold off announcing a team for that event in particular. In terms of the team that's going to take that forwards, Kevin Renshaw, you know, huge coaching experience, particularly in distance events, has been working alongside the coaches now for a good number of years, and he does a great job. And we're really lucky to have Alan Lynn, who's going to come on board tomorrow, ironically, from Scottish Swimming. So
is that right? Alan's coming down, is he?
He will come on board tomorrow, so he will in essence take on my former remit. He's role will be the head of performance development. He will be looking at talent development across the funded disciplines, so not just the Olympic swimming program, but also the Olympic dive and the para swimming program as well. So having Alan with his skill set and expertise again is another big win for the program, and will hopefully take us to the next level.
Well, that's fascinating and great for British swimming, because he's a brilliant coach and certainly knows what he's doing. We've got 200 meters to go, I think, in this the first of the heats that we're showing of the 1500 meters freestyle. It's heat 4. There will be 3 heats in the lunchtime session, and still swimming very, very well is the 15-year-old in lane number 2, Eleanor Kay of Bolton Metro, in that black hat closer to us, with the green hat in the centre of Lucy Fox of Wickham and District. And these two, almost from the gun, have been way out there and swimming really well, really well. So I think this is 150 metres to go, 3 lengths left. And we've got Eleanor Kay over first. Second is Lucy Fox up there in 5. Third, I think, just swimming into the pitch now at the bottom there is Harriet Oxley of City of Leicester. At the top there, going to the right, just going into the turn in 4th is Chloe Goodrich. And 5th in lane number 8, Emily Forward of Mount Kelly. So, Tim, thank you so much for coming and having a chat. I mean, it just seems like such an important focus, but a slightly different focus, I have to say, I thought it would be, because I guess automatically you'd think, well, the person in charge of juniors, get as many juniors medals as you can, and that's what I want to do. But it's much more subtle than that, much more well thought through than that, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah, and I'm really lucky that we've never been given targets around junior performance. Clearly, we want to be as good as we can be, because we do know that people that are successful at junior level have a good chance of being successful as seniors as well. But it's how you get to the success at junior level that's important, you know. So rather than throwing the kitchen sink at it just to be good as a junior, you want to know that it's part of a journey and part of a progression that you can put into an athlete's program, and it's not all about the result at that one moment in time.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That's absolutely fascinating, Tim. Tim Jones, the Associate Performance Director of British Swimming, and he has been responsible for making sure that all of those absolute superstars at the Olympic Games come through the junior ranks and go into the seniors. And the names he named, just amazing. Duncan Scott, Tom Dean, Freya Anderson, really brilliant. Matt Richards, some super swimmers there. Well done to you and your team, Tim. Brilliant. So here we go, just coming into the finish of this first heat of the women's 1500 metres freestyle that we're showing. It is Eleanor Kay first to finish. There we go. Great swim from her, 17:40. A 10-second lifetime best from her to win this first heat. Second is Lucy Fox from Wickham and District, and her time in second place in lane number 5. Well, the clock hasn't quite stopped there, but we'll give you that in a second when we get it. Harriet Oxley actually finished 3rd, so some of these places won't quite be right, because the swimmer in lane number 5, Lucy Fox, actually did finish in 2nd place. So we'll update you with the times and the places, but no doubt about the winner there, Eleanor Kay of Bolton Metro. Lucy Fox in 2nd. In 3rd, I think it was Harriet Oxley, but we'll check that for you in a second. And a really tough event. It's new to the Olympic calendar, this 1500 metres freestyle. And it's been on the World Championship programme for a long time, but a really tough double if you're adding the 1500 for women to the 800. I have to say, I've never really understood why women do 800 and men do 15. That's really bizarre. Joined again now in the commentary box by Amy Wilmot, 3 times Olympian, twice Olympic finalist in that 400 medley. Amy, why did they have 800 for women and 1500 for men?
I think probably traditionally, men are meant to be stronger, so they do the longer distance, the 1500, and the women have had the 800. But yeah, now we're seeing both men and women being able to do both of those events at the Olympics. So it just gives those distance swimmers another opportunity to swim in international competition and have 2 events rather than maybe just one if they're specifically a sole 400 metre or above swimmer.
Well, it was a really good first heat, and I have to say the spread, the age ranges, the degree of experience on that was extraordinary. The winner was Eleanor Kay, the 15-year-old. We did have Emma Willis, 42 years old, from York City. She has been a world and European Masters champion, and she's a really good open water swimmer as well as a pool swimmer. So Eleanor Kay won it. Lucy Fox was 2nd, and I think the the officials just making sure that the scoreboard and the times are correct. They've run a great meet here, they really have. We have lunch with them every day, don't we, Amy? And they're lovely people. They're quite quiet, keep themselves to themselves. Not too many jokes. I tried a dad joke the other day and it went down quite well, actually, I have to say.
Yeah, we underestimate how much they actually do and how busy they are, being almost first ones on poolside from heat 1 all the way till the end. So those official results are now final. Finishing first there was Eleanor Kay in a 17:40.19, and I think it was Lucy's time, who we were missing, was 17:42.57.
And the first two swimmers, 10-second lifetime bests. Incredible. So the second of the 3 heats that we're showing this morning in this women's 1500 metres freestyle. Georgia Robertson of City of Sheffield, the fastest seed. In 4, in 5, it's Olivia Sheehan of Wigan. In lane 2, Pearl Griffiths of Guildford has withdrawn, so there'll be nobody in lane 2. But a good start, very good start in the orange hat in the centre there for Georgia Robertson of City of Sheffield. Started quickly down this first 25, and going with her in 6 is Lucy Headley of Newcastle. And also going well in 8 is Amelia Bryan of Beckenham. Because of course there's a lane 0 and a lane 9, so lane 8, one before the top there.
Yeah, these girls have gone out quite hard here. We'd like to think that in a 1500 in particular, you can just really use the first 100 metres or so to just settle into that pace, settle into a nice rhythm, so that towards the end of the race, you haven't wasted lots of energy. So we'll want to make, the athletes will want to make sure that they're out well, but that it's really comfortable for them down this first 100 metres.
Well, they've gone off pretty comfortably. Well, pretty quickly, I should say. It's pretty comfortably, pretty quickly. And look at up there in lane number 8, Amelia Bryan of Beckenham, coached by Tony Beckley. He's been around for a while. He's a real stalwart. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? And he's got his 17-year-old Amelia Bryan up there. Started really well. And interesting, this is only 125 metres into a 1500 metres. And look how spread the field is already. It's incredible.
Yeah, these 3 girls here kind of leading the charge, as we'd say already, only with 150 metres into this race. There is a long way to go and a lot can change, so we can't really discount or forget about the swimmers that haven't necessarily gone out super fast on this first 100, because we keep saying over the 400s, if you go out 1 second too hard, you can maybe suffer 2 or 3 seconds on the final 100, and that's even more apparent and can make a bigger difference in these 1500s.
Now, how do you chop up a 1500? Do you just look at it as one big block, Amy, or do you block it in, chop it into 3 sets of 500, or how do you do it? The halfway mark? What do you look at if you're doing a 1500 freestyle?
Yeah, for me, I used to think the first 100, I will just really use that almost as free swimming, so it should cost me absolutely nothing. It would just be as comfortable as possible to get into that rhythm. Not too slow so that you can't pick any pace up later, so setting the pace for the rest of the race. The next 400, I would try and just settle into that rhythm, so not drop too much time from the first 100 to the second 100, and then really look to even split the whole way through. The middle 500 for me would be the 500 where it's kind of not make or break, but if you drop too much time too quickly, it's really hard to get back on that time at the end of the race, and you can throw yourself off that rhythm that you might have had for the first 300. And then the last 500 is where I would think about starting to increase my legs a little bit more each length. So every time I would turn, maybe winding it up a little bit so that I was building momentum, so I was able to finish the race really strong.
Oh, that's fascinating. I have to say, I got nowhere near a 1500 freestyle. Actually, saying that, I did one once. And my mum actually said she'd give me a family bar of chocolate if I did the trial for the British team, the British national team for the 1500 metres freestyle when I was 12. And in those days, a family bar of chocolate was worth having. So I said, OK, I'm going to have a crack. So I had a crack. I did it. I finished it. I was ill for a week because I was so exhausted, and I never did another one.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the family bar of chocolate at least.
Oh, yes, I did. I definitely did. But it probably wasn't quite the right way to go about it. But no, Mum didn't do too badly. My sister got a silver medal at the Olympic Games and I got a bronze, so between the two of us we did okay. She was our coach for a while, of course, down at Mount Kelly as well with Archie Brew. Fantastic, fantastic coach he is, and the whole Brew dynasty down there at Mount Kelly. Really amazing. Robin, his son, took over for so many years and just recently handed over the reins to Emma Collins-Barnes and Greg Kimlin. So, right at the top there, well, she started quickly. I have to say I was a little bit worried that she might have gone off a little bit too fast, but she looks good and just got into a good rhythm now up there as Amelia Bryant of Beckenham. She's in lane number 8. In 3 going well is Megan Spears from Nova Centurion, closer to us in that green hat in the centre. And then in 6, Lucy Headley of Newcastle swim team, currently in just about 3rd position, but starting to push for 2nd in that black hat.
Yeah, in the black hat there, has got a lovely long stroke. If we look at that comparison to lane 8, Amelia Bryan, Amelia has a lot of sort of a quicker stroke rate and a higher turnover, so she's probably doing maybe 3 or 4 strokes extra per length, and over a 1500 that adds up and it can be really tiring. So we want to think about holding lots of water, maximising the propulsion on every single arm cycle in this 1500 metre race.
And we did hear the winner of the men's 1500 metres talking about if you make just one little mistake on every 50, that's 30 mistakes on the whole race. And these juniors, well, there's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in this heat, in lanes 0 and 1, in 4 and 5, and in 7 and 8. So they hopefully will learn from, they will make mistakes, of course they will, because you always do, but hopefully they can reduce those mistakes. And I think Dan's 1500 metres freestyle, well, he really doesn't make too many at all, does he? But there will probably, if you make 2 mistakes, that's 60 on a 1500.
Yeah, it's a lot of mistakes to be making, and they can be things like a bad turn, 1 less kick than you might normally do. Maybe your breathing pattern starts to get a little bit erratic as you get tired. So there's lots of things to think about, and just because people think, oh, distance swimming's boring and it's really long, but there's so many things you can be thinking about on each length that if you keep doing them well and you keep focusing on those skills, stroke count, leg kick, high hip, still head, there are hundreds of things you can think about, and if you're concentrating on that and you're really in focus, then you can have a really good swim in comparison to somebody who's maybe just turned off and is just swimming the race.
And it was fascinating that you and I, Amy, were having a chat with Kev Renshaw the other day, weren't we, about distance swimming? And I think he's just been appointed as the new pathway lead for distance swimming for Olympic swimming. And in the past, I mean, I think he's been with British swimming for years and years, some of that, I don't know, 16, 17, 18 years or so, but he's had some cracking swimmers in the past, some utterly brilliant swimmers, Olympic medalists.
Yeah, he coached Joe Jackson, which is our current British record holder in the 400 freestyle, and David Davis, our Olympic silver medalist. So British swimming in the past has had a great pedigree of distance swimmers. We've had Becky Adlington, we've had Cassie Patton, so there's been a lot of athletes that have come through and almost been tough in Great Britain, and it's good to see some of these athletes now trying to replicate what Jazz Carlin did in 2016.
And Kev had some really interesting ideas and thoughts, which I'm sure he will be taking forward. He's just been appointed as the distance lead for British swimming, so it'd be really interesting to see what elements he adds. Lots and lots of experience, and I have to say he's been a huge help to me this week, making sure that I can comment on as many of the juniors as well as the seniors as possible. And we're here in this heat 5, the middle of the 3 heats that we'll be showing you this morning in this women's 1500 metres freestyle. Still in 3, it's Megan Spears leading for Nova Centurion. Second, just about in lane number 5, it looks like it may be Olivia Sheehan. Let's just see who gets the touch. She does. Sheehan in 5 from right at the bottom there, Evangeline Belt of Plymouth Leander turning 3rd. So, well, these swimmers, obviously there's still about another 8 minutes or so left before the next heat comes in. What are they thinking now, Amy?
1500's a long way.
Is that
I'm
what
sat
they're thinking?
waiting to get my turn in a minute. So, yeah, these athletes in the call room trying to stay nice and relaxed. If you're too tense and you're quite nervous and you're almost wasting energy in the call room, then that's only going to be a disadvantage to you when you go into your race. And these girls sort of taking it in their stride and seem quite relaxed before they come up in a couple of minutes' time for heat 6.
Well, it's fascinating to see the reactions when they see themselves on that television screen right in front of them. It's funny, the youngsters always seem to smile and sometimes get a little bit giddy, and then the older ones, well, they just don't care, do they? They've seen themselves so many times before. And I really think that's why having the television, certainly events like this, and having the poolside studio, and having John Mason do the interviews down there as well, just get them used to being in front of the television cameras. So when you get to the big Olympic events, Commonwealth Games, etc., it's just how it is. It's just what we do in British swimming. It's just normal. So important to do, and it was one of the elements I think was missing. Did you ever get comfortable with the cameras being around, Amy?
I don't think when I was younger I would have really paid much attention. I think I was just so excited to be at these big events with so many world-class swimmers that I was probably like a little bit of a yo-yo backwards and forwards, and to be in some of the same finals as those as a junior swimmer, I remember it being such a massive learning experience, and almost kind of looking across in the call room and thinking what they're doing, and oh, okay, that person's really focused versus that person who seems to be having a good time and staying nice and relaxed. So it just means that there's lots of different places for you to learn outside the pool and in the pool.
So they're, I think this is coming up to, is this the 800 metres, so the 900 metres turn, I should say. I think so. I think at this turn there's 600 to go, 12 lengths to go in this heat 5. There's going to be just 3 heats this morning, so heats 4, 5 and 6, and it's starting to get a lot tighter now. Right at the bottom here, it's Evangeline Belt starting to take over the lead from Megan Spears in 3, and the green hat she's led so far all the way through this race, and starting to catch her as well up in lane 5, and the higher of those 2 yellow lanes is Olivia Sheehan of Wigan. So these 3 swimmers now all in a line, and they will have 550 metres to go, so 11 lengths left at this turn. And, well, she sped up in the second half of that 25. That's fascinating. Evangeline Belt, well, so close. That's incredible. 3/100ths of a second splitting the first 2. Evangeline Belt in lane 0. In 3, it's Megan Spears in that green hat in the centre. And then up there in 5, it's Olivia Sheehan of Wigan.
Yeah, a lot of these girls that come into the 1500 here will also be really strong open water swimmers. So Megan Spears in the Nova hat there was a bronze at the European qualifiers for her age group in the 7.5 kilometre open water. And I think it's really good that some of our open water swimmers or pool swimmers have now got the ability to kind of cross over and do both. We saw Kerry Ann do that in the pool really well. Kerry Ann Carey now, as she's known, and she swam 400 individual medley at world level, at Commonwealth level. She was a fantastic 800 freestyler, and then she went on in London 2012 to, I think she won a medal in that 10K open water. So it's really good to see these athletes have the ability to throw in the 1500 metre there, because for a while that event was on the programme, but it wasn't really considered as a strong event as the 800 or the 10K. So it kind of gives them that little bit of a middle ground, and with more events having 1500 freestyle in the programme, there's more opportunity for the distance swimmers and open water swimmers to race in the pool and not necessarily in the bad weather in the winter when it's absolutely freezing here in the UK.
Well, there have been so many open water distance swimmers who've been utterly brilliant. I have to say Cassie Patton so nearly won the Olympics, and in actual fact, I think she got her leg pulled. Somebody grabbed her leg right in the sprint finish, and I think she would have won it. And that put, I think it was the Russian swimmer actually, pulled her leg, and that put the Russian onto the medal podium, and unfortunately completely stuffed the momentum of Cassie, and she just missed the gold, which was a great shame. But David Davis, of course, brilliant. Cassie Patton. Hector Pardo was in the Olympics for us in Tokyo, as was Tobias Robinson.
Yeah, and Alice Deering was there leading the female team at the Summer Games last year in Tokyo. So we've seen both Hector and Alice in the pool this week, as well as Toby Robinson, and it's good to see those athletes here. And ultimately, they can learn a lot from pool swimming, and a little bit more around pacing, holding sort of that same split over and over and over again, which is so important in that open water distance. But also being able to really work on the speed, which we now see being a massive influence in our 10K events. quite a lot of the time it now comes down to the sprint finish, and a 10K open water swim can be as close as 0.1, 0.2. So the pool swimming allows them to really focus on that speed and change of pace that they can't really implement or replicate, in open water settings very often.
Well, I'll just give you a quick update on this race here, because Evangeline Belt of Plymouth Leander at the bottom here has really had a good second half of this 1,500 metres. She was 4 or 5 metres behind for a while, behind Megan Spears in lane number 3. Just coming into the picture in the green hat now in 3rd place, because Olivia Sheehan's just overtaken from Wigan. So first is Evangeline Belt, second Olivia Sheehan, and third Megan Spears. And the first 2 are juniors, which again, talking to Tim Jones, the junior programme, really good at delivering the juniors into seniors. What we were talking, I think they've got 3 lengths to go, or 4 lengths to go, so 200 metres to go, I think, at this turn coming up. So 1,300 down, 2 lengths to go in this, the second of 3 heats in this session of the 1,500 metres freestyle. We were talking about Alice Deering, Amy, and she's done some wonderful stuff for black swimming. I think she's an ambassador for the Black Swimming Association. It would be really good to see more black swimmers in the pool, learning to swim, of course, to start with. It doesn't seem to be something that culturally there are as many black swimmers, black people going into swimming as there are at track or they are at basketball. I'm absolutely brilliant at that, but we did see at the Olympic Games recently, we've seen gold medals from black swimmers, certainly from the American side, and some brilliant ones, particularly that women's 100 metres freestyle. That was a stunning race from her, wasn't it?
Yeah, some really strong female swimmers we're seeing now on the world level, and Alice is kind of leading that charge in British swimming, and it's nice to see her being so confident and open about some of the struggles she's had and how she overcomes them. And even silly things like, I think she speaks a lot about managing her hair and how she gets that in her swimming cap, which I struggle with mine sometimes when I've had too much conditioner on it. So to kind of see these swimmers as really good role models in our sport is good to see, and they're almost expanding swimming and pushing it further to increase that mass participation.
So the bell for the final 100 metres in this, the second of 3 heats in this session of the women's 1,500 metres freestyle. Evangeline Belt swam a really good race. Fabulous second half of the race she swam. She's in lane 0, closest to us for Plymouth Leander. In lane number 5, it is Olivia Sheehan in second, just going out of the picture there on the left-hand side. And then third at the moment is Megan Spears from Nova Centurion. But 30 lengths of the pool, and most local pools, it's 60 lengths of this pool. Sorry, 60 lengths it would be of the local pool, a 25-metre pool. 30 lengths in the Olympic pool, and at the bottom there, it is Evangeline Belt. Second turning there, right in the centre, it is Olivia Sheehan, and third, Megan Spears.
Yeah, really good race from these 3 girls tactically. Swam the perfect race to come through and finish at 1,500, clear of the rest of the field. And a really strong leg kick there as we come into the wall. Evangeline Belt is doing just that from Plymouth Leander here.
So Evangeline Belt is going to win the second of the 3 heats in this session of the women's 1,500 metres freestyle. And her lifetime best was 17:48, and she's just gone 17:35. So she's just done a 13-second lifetime best. Or 17:33, I should say, excuse me. 15-second lifetime best for Evangeline Belt. 15 seconds on 1,500 metres freestyle. She's repped 1 second per 100 for 1,500s. Faster than a lifetime best. That's a brilliant swim.
Yeah, really good. And as Dan said, if you get 30 things wrong, you can be 30 times slower. But if you do 15 or 30 things really well, you can then be the right side of that personal best. And you can make massive differences in distance swimming just by correcting 1 or 2 tiny things every single length.
And with nobody in lane 2, just finishing up there is Ella Took of Newcastle swim team. And so the first 2 swimmers going lifetime best, third swimmer actually a season's best as well. Such a long event added to the 800 metres freestyle at the Olympic programme. It's been in the World Championships for a long time, but recently in the Olympics, the inaugural Olympic Games, 1,500 metres freestyle. And there, Evangeline Belt winning the second of the 3 heats of the women's 1,500 metres freestyle here at the British Championships in 2022. So one more heat left. It is heat 6. One more heat left in this session, and then, of course, the last heat, the final heat. The fastest 8 seeded swimmers coming into this meet will be in the finals this evening. But if any swimmers here swim quickly, they could well get a medal. Quite unlikely that any of these 10 swimmers in this heat will swim fast enough to get on the medal podium. But I have to say, I was talking to Ms. Wilmot the other day, who told me a fascinating story about one of her first European short course championships in the 800 metres freestyle. Amy, what happened there?
I swam in heat 1 of the 800 freestyle. Swam a massive PB, a huge, well, a really quick time, to be honest, that I was really surprised with. And watching the final in the evening, ended up winning a bronze medal, sat on poolside, as the time I posted from this morning heat was fast enough to win a medal in the evening final, or shall I say the evening fastest heat. So yeah, that was one of my funny stories, and I don't think I've ever heard it happen to anybody else.
I have to say, I've never heard it happen, so that's the first time. I think it's utterly brilliant. And your time, I mean, you've very modestly just passed over and said, yes, it wasn't too bad. It was, wasn't it 8:19?
Yeah, short course, I must add. So at the European Short Course Championships this was, and I swam a couple of distance events in my time. I think I'm somewhere on the top 25 list, maybe all time in this 1500 freestyle, but it's not particularly fast when you look at the likes of Jazz Carlin at the top of that list.
Wow, well, just to complete one, I have to say, is quite an achievement. And going out really quickly here down this first 125 metres, right in the centre, Amy Hood of Redditch. Also going well closer to us in lane 0 is Zala Berholt of Barnet Coptal.
Yeah, going out really well here is Amy Hood, and hopefully she can keep up this pace and she can really work on her legs as she comes to the end, as she's getting a little bit tired, but she's got really nice still head position there, breathing every 2 with a slightly higher stroke rate than we may see in distance swimming, but she looks nice and controlled here, and she's not using her legs very much at all. So
well,
coming into the 200 metre there, she turns in a time of 2:10.41. So she's looking quite comfortable, and I'm sure she'll want to try and keep up this pace.
Well, she started very well in lane number 4, in the closer to us of those 2 middle yellow lanes. Second fastest at the moment at that 200 turn was Charlotte Wynne-Jones of University of Bath. And then right at the top there, Laura Hodgson of Newcastle swim team. So Laura Hodgson right at the top in lane 9. Interestingly, in 7 and 8, sisters. Ella Bloxage is in lane 7. Amelia Bloxage is in lane 8, both of the city of Salford, coached by Daniel Naylor and John Stout. And, well, fascinating to see sisters in the same heat and next to each other on a 1500 freestyle. Never seen that before.
No, I used to swim with my sister when we were a lot younger, so we were both quite competitive swimmers. I was slightly more competitive than my younger sister, and being older, always wanted to be better. So my events were mainly 400 individual medley, and at a young age, she was a really good junior swimmer, national age group finalist in 200 metres butterfly. So I know sometimes how it feels when you've got a sibling in the pool, and yeah, you can be pretty competitive, even in training.
And Amelie Bloxage actually in the yellow hat, just going out of the screen on the left-hand side there. You can just see her top left. Amelie Bloxage had her birthday yesterday and has turned the ripe old age 13. She was 12 years of age when she swam the 400 metre, or the 800 metres freestyle, excuse me. She's 12 years old swimming the 800, swam the 400 metres on her 13th birthday yesterday, and then has come back and is in the 1500 metres freestyle here, age 13.
Yeah, I think she's probably one to watch already at such a young age, if she can keep up the performances that she's been posting here at the British Championships, and she can go away and year after year come back, get stronger as she grows ultimately, gets bigger, learns more about her craft and what she's good at, and develops that technique, then I'm sure we'll see her as one of our ones to watch in a couple of years' time. But really nice to see her here at just 13 years old and in this penultimate heat of this 1500 freestyle.
Well, she's swimming as well, and that's a yellow hat up the top there. And she swam a little bit like this in the 800 free. She was quite comfortable halfway through and then started picking up and really went for it and had a fabulous swim in the end. Really impressed, I have to say. And the Bloxed sisters in lanes 7 and 8, Ella in 7 and Emily in 8. But no doubt about the leader, it is Amy Hood, and she's swimming really well. That white hat in the centre in lane number 4 from Redditch. Carl Grosvenor is the coach there. And in 5, Charlotte Wynne-Jones of University of Bath.
Yeah, really good start here from Amy Hood. She still looks nice and strong. We've seen her take it out almost from the very first length, and she's holding on to that pace and splits here at the 500-metre mark in 5:36.15. So she's 4 seconds clear of the rest of the field now.
So that was the 500 metres turn, and I think I might have mispronounced Carl's surname. I think it's Grosvenor. So Amy Hood of Redditch, coached by Carl Grosvenor, and she is, about 10 metres ahead and looking really good. But the field now quite spread out. There's about 40 metres between the leader here and the swimmer in 9th place or 10th place in this heat, using 10 lanes in the heats. And then in the finals, we will be using 8 lanes in each of the finals, with the exception this evening of this 1500 metres freestyle. Because it's the last heat, we will still be on heat rules, and heat rules say that we can have 10 swimmers in the heats.
Yeah, there'll be lanes 0 to 9 tonight in this women's 1500 freestyle, and I think we've got Leah Crisp coming up in that, the winner of our 800 metre freestyle.
Still don't quite know why international swimming doesn't give you the option to use 10 lanes if you want to, because it would be quite good here at the British Nationals to actually fill up all 10 lanes. I don't really see why you'd only use 8. I know lots of pools only have 8 lanes, so therefore it's not really fair to allow necessarily, if it's all even across the world, to allow people to have 10 lanes if there aren't 10, but...
So I believe an official, a young official, a couple of days ago, I think when we maybe asked this question, sent me a message on Instagram and said that they believe that you don't use lanes 0 and 9 because of the wave disadvantage that you might get off the wall. So at senior competitions, lane 1, there isn't any backwash from the drains that you would get in lane 0. So that's what I've been told.
Is that right?
And if anyone has a different answer to that, then let me know. But I believe that's why at Olympics, Worlds, the outside lanes are not used because of the wave disadvantage coming off the wall.
You know, that's absolutely fascinating, because I would have thought it would be totally the other way around. Because if you do see the outside lanes, lane 0, lane 9, there's actually a lane line, an anti-wave lane line. Look at right at the bottom there, you can see it. There's an anti-wave lane line between the lane and the wall itself, and then the side of the pool you can see is deck level. So the water is actually at the same level as the side of the pool. So any waves slosh into the guttering anyway, so they don't really bounce back that much, and they get eaten by the anti-wave lane line. I'd prefer to be in an outside lane, wouldn't you?
I think if you're focusing on your own race, being in the outside is quite good, but if you want to be in with the race and you want to kind of know what's going on around you, then you want to be in one of those centre lanes. And even though I think I went in ranked 2nd at the Olympic Games and maybe came out 7th, it was still good to be in that environment and be in the centre lanes, so I could kind of react and, well, try to react to what was happening around me.
Yeah, to be fair, Amy, I think you did a super job, because you had one job to do in the heats, and it's make sure that you got through to the final. And you swam very well in the heats to get through to the final. And purely the fact that the other swimmers were not quite as quick in the heats, well, hey-ho, hey-ho. But I thought you swam really well, one, to make it through, and then in the final as well. It's really impressive. Really impressive. Are you listening?
Yeah, sometimes you can't afford to take it easy in the heats. Like, I knew that was potentially my one shot to make it back, and I wasn't going to play any tactical swims and save any energy, because I knew that if I wanted to be in the mix, I had to have a lane in that final. So I went in the heat and almost gave it my all, and struggled a little bit the next morning to come back. The difference with the heats in Tokyo was that they were heats in the evening and then finals in the morning. And for me, especially as I got older, as soon as I've raced one day and then I go to sleep, I wake up and almost feel like I've been hit by a train, and it's really difficult to come back, or it was for me really difficult to come back and swim quick the next day. And I knew going into that race I was carrying a little bit of fatigue, but I almost tried to just put that to the back of my mind. And it wasn't a terrible swim, but it wasn't as quick as my heat, and the fatigue just set in, and ultimately came away 7th in the Olympic final. But if I hadn't have gone as fast in the heat, I wouldn't have even made it back in that final. So I could have been 9th or 10th, and that would have been way worse.
Absolutely right. No, I have to say, double Olympic finalist in Rio and in Tokyo, 5 years apart, not the normal 4 years apart, but 5 years apart, having done 2012 as well. It's an honor to be sitting next to you, I have to say. 400 medley, one of the toughest events in the program. And I think we're looking at one of the toughest, possibly the toughest event in the program. It's the 1500 meters freestyle. And in lane number 4, Amy Hood of Redditch, her coach Carl Grosvenor, doing a super job with her, because look at this. She is about, she's about 8 meters ahead now. It has been 10 meters, but it's maybe just been reeled in a little bit. She's over first. Second is one lane above her. That's Charlotte Wynne-Jones of Bath University. And then a good scrap for 3rd and 4th at the moment between lane number 6, Katie Thompson of Birmingham, and lane 8, the 13-year-old Amelie Bloxage of the city of Salford.
Yeah, Amelie coming back really well. And as we said, we saw her do this in the 800 earlier in the week. She almost didn't go out hard enough, but we saw her finish the race and thought she could have turned and keep going. So it's good to see her now really working, and she's in lane 8 there at the top of the screen in the yellow hat.
So Hood is leading. Second at that turn, that was the 1,000-meter turn, so 10 lengths left, 500 meters left in this heat 6 of the women's 1,500 meters freestyle. There is one more heat, but it is in this evening session. It's the fastest heat, and it'll have the fastest 10 swimmers ranked in Great Britain coming into this championships. But now extending her lead a little bit. Well, I thought it was getting eaten into a little bit, but she's just started putting her hammer down at that 1,000-meter mark. That's interesting. Tactically, we're talking about how you split it up, and it looks like she's decided the 1,000 meters is where she's going to really start moving.
Yeah, we don't necessarily, it doesn't, look as obvious to see, but you might just think about pulling harder under the water, thinking more about holding the water and getting a good catch as you get tireder and tireder. And it's really important that you want to think about keeping those hips up, not really sinking, even though those legs are not going. But yeah, in the next couple of 100 meters, we might see Amy start to slowly increase these just a little bit at a time to keep that speed and finish really well in this 1,500.
So that was the 1,100 meters turn, 400 left, and there's a good scrap going on for 3rd and 4th. No doubt about the leader, though. Amy Hood looking very, very strong, breathing to her left-hand side. Slips her right arm in quite short, but then really extends it beautifully. Just surfs off that right hand a little bit. And coach giving her a good wave on. So she'll be first to turn with 350 to go. Second just coming into the picture there is Charlotte Wynne-Jones of University of Bath, and then there's a good scrap going on. Well, actually, look at that. Katie Thompson's made a move in the white hat just going into the turn, and up from her one is Amelia Bloxage of City of Salford. So it looks like Katie Thompson starting to have a crack at the swimmer in second place at the moment here. Hood's leading. Second is Charlotte Wynne-Jones, and coming back very quickly is Katie Thompson of City of Birmingham.
Yeah, Katie in the white hat there just off screen is really coming through, but still showing her dominance is lane 4, Amy Hood, as she's just building a little bit more. We can see a tiny bit more leg kick coming in from her, and she's looking really strong in the back end of this race.
Well, she's extended her lead to about 15 meters now. It's a couple of lengths ago, it was 10. Interesting, that stroke. Look, she goes in quite short, just past her head, but then really stretches it forward nicely as well. So some swimmers enter a little bit further forward and spear the water and send that hand forward, but she seems to go slightly shorter, but then still really stretches.
Yeah, I think part of that is because her head's slightly higher, so her hand entry is a little bit, not narrower, but a little bit early. But yeah, she's still getting a really nice glide phase under the water, and she's still pushing and extending. So she's really working from the very front of her stroke all the way past her hips. So I'm sure the stronger she gets and the more 1500 she does and the more she goes back and looks at her technique, she may be able to lengthen out that a tiny bit more. And if she's doing that on every length, it could be another 0.1 or 0.2 here and there.
Well, certainly left arm looks good, and we're getting pretty picky because she's swimming very well indeed. Amy Hood over first for the City of Birmingham. Well, City of Birmingham, she is on the scoreboard, but on the entries it was the Redditch Swimming Club, so not quite sure which of those two she's officially representing here in this heat 6 of the women's 1500 meters freestyle. But she looks very good, whoever it is, and a really interesting battle opening up for second and third at the moment, because Katie Thompson will be swimming into your picture in a second, just one lane up from the leader. Amy Hood over first, and she's got about a 20-meter lead now, but just coming into the picture now, just starting to go from left to right. In lane number 6, it's Katie Thompson, just overtaken Charlotte Wynne-Jones in 5 for the second place, and in 4th is still the 13-year-old Amelia Bloxage of City of Salford, who's swimming very well up there in lane 8.
Yeah, all these girls having a really good swim here, and Katie Thompson from the City of Birmingham's really progressing well in the last 500 metres here. So we're coming into the last 100 metres turn. And Amy Hood turns there in 15:56.95. So entry time of 17:21. I think she's going to be under that.
Yeah, she should be well under it, and started to go to her feet as well. Good discipline this is not easy. And the race for second place still on, that's fascinating. But the swimmer right in the centre there, in that white hat, is Amy Hood. And she's looking very, very good indeed. This is a really good swim. And as you say, Amy, a lifetime best of 17:20. Well, she's got 49 seconds to come back in to do that. I think she's going to be way under that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amy, second place just there, going to the right-hand side. Katie Thompson with Charlotte Wynne-Jones in 3rd.
Yeah, all 3 of these girls having a really good swim, and Amy's really working her legs now. We know she'll be under her entry time and her personal best, but just by how much?
So her lifetime best is 17:20.53. She's way under it, 17:20. She's very nearly broken 17 minutes. And look at that sprint at the end from Amy Hood. A super swim to win heat 6 over the women's 1500 meters freestyle. A 17-second lifetime best. Well, we saw a 15-second lifetime best in the last heat, 17 on this one. Second in this heat 6 is Katie Thompson of City of Birmingham, and Charlotte Wynne-Jones in 3rd. And just at the top there, the 13-year-old Amelie Bloxage of City of Salford. Super swim for the youngster, just 13 years old yesterday.
All 4 of these girls that have already finished have swum a personal best. So we have over 10 seconds personal best from all 4 of these girls here.
Finishing in the 5th place now is Laura Hodgson up the top there from Newcastle. And then 6th, 7th and 8th, a good scrap coming in right here in lanes 3, 2 and 1. That's Kaylin Hall, Millie Emmons and Jessica Arundel. Jessica Arundel just finishing now from Barnet Copthall. And then second Bloxage sister just coming in as well, Ella Bloxage in 7th. And finishing in the second right at the bottom is Bernholt of Barnet.
Yeah, all these swimmers here. It's really tough to swim 1500 freestyle, and never mind on day 6 of the British Swimming Championships. So really good swimming there, and our last swimmer comes in lane 0, Sala Bernholt.
17-second lifetime best for the winner after a 15-second lifetime best for the winner of the previous heat. That heat 6 of the women's 1500 freestyle. The final heat is to come this evening. There will be 10 lanes of that and then 8 lanes of all the others. It's Amy Hood winning that heat 6, 17:03, and the lifetime best was 17:20.
Yeah, 17 seconds or 16.5 seconds under that. So all those girls there finishing top, well, 1, 2 ranked this morning, 3, 4, 5, all swimming massive personal bests there.
Well, it's really good to see so many juniors, so many seniors coming to these national championships and swimming season's best and so many lifetime bests. It's just been great fun trying to track them all. I have to say it's been a real challenge, but Amy Wilmot and I trying to give you as many of those as we can track in the time that we have, because The meet really has rattled through. The officials done a super job of getting it through. And British swimming, 1,500 swimmers have been entered. They actually had to turn some away as well. 4,000 swims will have been swum by the time this meet is over. And that is the end of the final session of heats at this 2022 British National Championships. We've got the last set of finals this evening. The pre-game show will be starting at 5:45. John Mason will be leading the charge down on the pool side, doing the interviews, doing the introductions, the presentation. Fabulous chap he is, and really looking forward to it. Amy, it's been another fabulous session. That's 11 sessions down, 1 to go. You enjoying it so far?
Yeah, tonight will be a really exciting race. We have first up the women's 1500 freestyle, the last heat, men's 50 butterfly, women's 100 breaststroke, but then we have the men's 200 backstroke, our women's 100 butterfly, followed by our exciting men's 200 freestyle. So tune in tonight as we have some amazing finals on the cards with some of our fastest swimmers and some of our world's best swimmers in this 200 freestyle.
That is the one, isn't it? That's the one I've certainly been waiting for. Olympic champion on the 200 metres freestyle, Tom Dean, against the Olympic silver medalist on the 200 metres freestyle, Duncan Scott, who's having an absolute blinder of an event. Just for that, tune in just for that. But there's some cracking finals this evening. 5:45 we start for a 6 p.m. first race. Amy and I, thank you very much for watching so far. See you this evening. It's goodbye from Andy Jameson.
And let's look forward to one more exciting session, and goodbye from Amy Wilmot.
Goodbye.